How do you really know?
There we are.
And we're back.
How many times will I have to get up today?
I don't know. What's par for the course? About 7 or 8 times?
Hey now.
Everybody getting dialed in. Welcome to the Media Farm where we grow the hits.
I don't see us. I don't see me.
Right,
do you?
we're live.
There we go.
To the Outhouse Podcast.
We're live, not from New York, though.
Where we talk shit about shit. We're going to talk a lot of shit tonight with this young man over here. We already started talking shit outside.
We did.
You want to do your disclaimer and get that out of the way once you handle that other thing?
He's over there adjusting, making adjustments.
Have to. Jeez.
Lots of adjustments.
You know, I just got back from the haunted hole up in Saskatchewan, you know, up by Camel Toe.
Place is awfully fishy there.
See what I could do there now?
I love it, isn't it?
Sounds
I'm down
like
in the basement again.
Sunday. Be there.
Okay.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Catch the man-eating F-150.
There's been some delay in there somewhere. Hey, there it is, a little quick one.
Crazy Eddie's prices are insane.
Insane.
Yes.
Go back to our... Anyway, welcome to the show. And don't forget, the views and opinions expressed by the individuals in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of the Outhouse Podcast, its affiliates, its guests, or even our asses. It's just for entertainment. Oh, that wasn't a very good throw. I was a left-handed. Want to try it again?
Try it again.
Yeah,
Nice.
broke through that time.
You need to watch some of those Rick Smith card throwing videos.
Got that from, remember,
Letterman.
Yeah, Letterman.
Yeah, it was a Letterman.
Used to
thing.
throw it through the window.
Letterman.
Love that stuff. Love it.
We got Dennis in there. Gary's in there.
Dennis is in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey,
What's
all
up, y'all?
right. And Gary, quite contrary.
Hey, Dennis, by the way, I got a gig in Cleveland to go to, so you're going to have to come eat early Saturday morning or early Sunday morning because we have a show here Sunday.
You guys are going to eat?
Huh?
You guys are going to eat?
Eat.
Eat. What are you talking about?
We
I thought
talking
that's
about
what he
Willis?
said. Eat.
No.
No, he's going to fix my van. He's got to finish it. He already fixed it, but it needs a couple little more touches on it.
I thought
But
you were Dennis.
Sunday is Starlight. That's what I was trying to say. Starlight. We're bringing them guys back. The Motown band.
Yeah.
So we give them a good show because
Can't wait.
they was like our first show and we didn't have shit together
my
back
gosh.
then.
We got like 3 video cuts, all different lengths.
Right?
Kept cutting our stream. And
not Starlight, the superhero lady from The Boys, but that'd be cool too.
Don't forget our sponsors at Gattuso's Music, 1300 Market Avenue North, Sparta Lounge, 1101 12th Street Northwest, Plant et Art, 1524 Fulton Road, Northwest. And don't forget, if you say the F-bomb, it all goes to Humble Creatures when this thing's full, and it's almost full. So, and they said, by all means, bring your cameras up.
You
and
talked to them?
videotape. Yeah. They said, as long as we let them know we're coming, bring the cameras, get it all on video.
That's awesome.
So we'll be releasing that one of
Yes.
these days when we go up there and do that whole thing.
Very cool.
That ought to be really cool. Cool. So our today's guest
Is in the hot seat
in the hot seat.
at the Outhouse Podcast tonight.
I am so
we
scared.
grow
I am
the
so
hits.
scared.
Dave's right here.
Dave is here.
Everybody
Dave
wondered
is
where
here.
Dave was. Now we know he's here, man.
Dave's not here.
This is Dave. If you ever wondered why he wasn't there, because he's here.
I'm here.
He's hanging out with us, talking
not
shit
here,
about
man.
shit.
Welcome. Crap about crap. I just love it. Well, hello there.
All right.
Get you in
You
there,
blocked me
little
out.
bit.
Wait a minute. There I am.
There we
Wait
go.
a minute.
Go ahead.
Cool.
All right, let me get in a little closer.
We're good.
Knocking everything over.
Does it have a triangle on it? Oh, the triangle fell off. It's supposed to have a little triangle there, so you
Yeah.
can see. You don't want to go too far that way, because then you'll be
But
blocked.
see, now I'm hid.
Yeah. So
Somebody
you're
said
blocked.
nice echo, but that was actually my phone because I was a dummy and I didn't turn the
I think you're
volume
good
down.
now.
So yeah,
I think I
I
got,
got
you.
this.
I was hearing
got
the
this.
echo too. I was like, "Hey, we got an echo." And
Actually, I'm not hearing that tonight.
well, there was an echo because my sound was
Oh,
on my phone, so
but my normal thing that's normally
Yeah.
in my ears, it's not there in my ears.
you got a thing in your ears? That
It's
sounds
not
kinda
me
weird.
bloody ears, it ain't.
It sounds kind of weird. I'm just saying.
They have Q-tips for that.
Oh, Dennis says, oh,
Eerie.
was that from earlier when I was in the
Yeah.
haunted hole?
In the haunted hole. No, he was talking about the echo on my phone.
Oh.
Sorry, Dennis.
I'm in the haunted hole. Can you dig it?
I am so scared right now.
You don't have anything
You're
to be
not in
afraid
Minerva
of.
anymore, Dave.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Anyway, on with the show. We done with the
Speaking of
shenanigans?
Minerva.
No, we're not. Never. So what's going on, Dave? What's new? What's happening? What you got going?
Where do I begin?
We're gonna start.
Well, the store's
It all
doing.
started when I was 12 years old.
Actually, it started when I was 5.
There we
5.
go.
Ooh.
I've been playing guitar since I've been 5 years old.
Nice.
What made you pick it up?
It was given to me as a neighbor. She was a singer, a Broadway singer, and she moved in beside us in Worcester, lived up by the college, and she gave me a 1937 Silvertone.
Nice. Do you
Art
still have it?
Pretty cool. I still have it at the store. It's still hanging on the wall. And she started me with learning classical jazz and blues
The good stuff.
back in the 50s.
Gary said, I've been in a haunted hole. I remember her.
Yeah. Now, when you say the store, I don't know that we mentioned it yet, but it's Minerva Music Store in downtown
have
Minerva.
not.
Actually, it's Minerva Music Center.
Music
Ah,
Center.
it's
It
my
better
is
than
bad.
a store.
It is a store.
They got all your needs. If you're
Not
out
all
that
your
way.
needs.
Unless
Not
you
all
want
your
like
needs.
steak or something, then you know.
No, if you've
yeah.
got constipation, we don't have pills for
Oh, well,
constipation.
you
We
know,
don't do that.
music needs.
Not in my
Let's
store, you don't.
specify.
Tom has really bad hemorrhoids. So
We do have.
I just got one. I keep telling you, he keeps pluralizing. It's just one the size of my thumb. That's all. It's all right. It only hurts once in a while.
We have guitar picks for that
Nice. I can play with my ass.
Surgery.
in the outhouse. That's right.
can scrub
Surgically
it.
removed.
So yeah, it's Minerva Music
great.
Center. It's a division of NDK Enterprises. I also have NDK Audio Video Productions. I do documentary films.
nice. How many have you done?
NDK.
How many films have you done? 5?
5.
5.
Now, did you start Minerva Music? Is that your company?
Yes, my wife and I started it. I moved to Minerva area in 1980 to teach school. I worked at a hospital in Worcester as a program coordinator, and they were downsizing. I had hair like down to here, curly hair.
Hippie.
Yeah, I was.
I saw
man.
an old picture of you with like the fro. He had,
That
like,
was
the
from an
white guy
album.
fro.
That was a
Yeah.
children's album I did.
Yeah.
that
It's
I
right
wrote
after
some
he
book-
touched the light socket.
but that part of that was a shadow. I have to.
Okay.
My good friend Becky took that picture, and I looked at that and I went, I looked kind of forlorn in that picture. But yeah, I had this loose, curly, long hair. So
Kind of looked like you'd have hung out at Studio 51 back in the day or something like that.
no,
hair, so.
no, no. Area 51. So anyhow, what happened? So my job was being downsized. So a friend of mine in Columbus heard about a job opening up in this area, and they called me. I came up for the interview, and superintendent's sitting across from me, and he says, "Could you coach football?" And I went, "Do I look like a football coach?"
I love Zonka.
I said, I have a knack, you know. And then I said, I can coach track. He goes, you're my new track coach. I said, thought we were here to talk about education, special ed, gifted, but we'll get to that. I'm like going, God, what have I gotten into here? And I know when I pulled into this little burg, I saw the football field, thought it was a practice field because, and then I went to my first football game on a Saturday afternoon, and they announced this band, and here comes the blankety blank man, doom, 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 doom. And I went, is that a squad? And this lady turns around and goes, that's our band. And I'm like, they're really good. And I'm like, because I'm from Worcester, we were used to 200 plus kids marching out into the field. And I'm like, what the heck did I get into here?
Yeah.
So I thought I was going to leave. And I remember my mother calling me and from Florida, and she says, how do you like it? And I went, Mom, if they ever give United States and enema, they're going to stick the hose where I'm at right now. So
Things haven't changed much.
But I stayed. The kids liked me. The parents kind of came to me and said, "Hey, stay," and I did. And in I met my wife. We got married 3 months after we met. We were a perfect match for each other. And seriously, I mean, I know. Okay. So anyhow, in 1988, I was giving private lessons at people's houses, and I said, I got to get a little studio somewhere. And people were asking for strings, and my wife had a master's in marketing and finance. So
Nice.
she goes, "Here's $200, make it work." And I thought, that's my capital investment? She goes, "Make it work." And
You made it work.
it took us 5 years, because that's textbook, to get a profit. And we've been there since 1988. And we bought our current building in 98. She had it paid off in 2004.
That's awesome.
Nice.
But the sad part was she passed in 2015,
Oh,
about a week and
sorry.
a half after her diagnosis. And
That's rough.
didn't have a lot of closure. So we I had a girl working for me. I only have girls. I'm not a weirdo, but young guys don't want to work.
Right.
They just want to.
And the women smell much better.
They do. And these girls were great. Every one of my girls have gone on to do great things. Veterinarian, dentist, oceanographers. I mean, these girls all got PhDs and stuff. But
So you just scared them out of music, and they went off and did other things.
exactly.
I see a pattern
I'm
there.
like scary enough as I am. But anyhow, we started from scratch, and we built up our clients. We had a lot of really great teachers teaching, and our lessons are only $15 a half hour. And this will freak people out too. They charge a lot to redo guitars, to put strings on. We charge for electric guitars, and I'm going to build my business up, and I know you have a sponsor here, but I could be your sponsor too.
Absolutely.
'Cause you got that right. So anyhow, for $35, we clean all your electronics, we reset the neck, we oil your machines, we check everything, we polish your frets, lemon oil, triple wax.
I'm a customer, so I can tell you right now, it's the best bargain in the world, I'd say.
We set up the pickups.
Damn, I should bring all my work to you then.
You can sublet it.
30,
I charge double that.
$35.
Oh, yeah.
$35
This-
in tax.
This man put pickups.
I do
and
the
all
same thing for
electronics.
$89.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there you have it.
We had a guy. Came in. He said he was up toward Akron at a store, and they wanted $120 to do his guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I have people coming in from PA, West Virginia, that bring their stuff to me to work on.
Yeah.
So
Well, I was slightly under what you was charging at first, and then I went out and found the national average of what all this shit is, and I went off of that because, like, yesterday, dude come in, which I didn't even realize it was Mid-Sun that brought this 12 string in. I didn't realize it till I actually, but it says on that to charge somebody to restring a 12 string $70. I was like, wow.
we charge just a little bit more, about $42 for that.
I charged him 50 plus the strings, so it was $61.
Now let's talk lessons. I had a girl. I won't mention her name, but she's cute. She's from Salem. She's in a sophomore, I think.
I'm
this
glad
year.
it's not the girl from Nantucket, because this would be going a whole different way
You're
right
putting
now.
money in that puppy, wouldn't
Here we go.
So anyhow, so this girl, her mom calls me, says she's been taking bass lessons, and I won't say the name of the place. It's in Boardman, but it's got the same name as a very famous movie with Jack Black. So anyhow, she was taking
It
lessons.
sounds like a school of socks.
It's just a school of socks. You're exactly
Yes.
right. So anyhow, so her mom says you were recommended. She's been taking for 7 months and she doesn't know diddly squat. So I
Wow.
said, well, bring her in her first lessons free, just to get acquainted time. So this cute girl comes in. She sits down and we're talking, and I put some bass music. I said, play that. She goes, I can't read that. I went, you took for 7 months. I said, play a scale. She goes, and I'm like, what were you doing? She says, oh, we were doing Red Hot Chili Peppers. I said, did you know what key or what you were playing? She goes, no. I said, how much were your lessons? Drum roll. Oh, that was cool. Drum roll, $50 a half hour.
Oh.
Wow, I can see it right now. They're all going, oh my God.
All right.
Now,
I can't see
We
you.
only
You need to
charge
move your
25.
thing.
I just
of
found
ours.
out there's another one of those up north of us,
Yeah.
$75 a half hour.
Oh my
Look,
gosh.
I can barely see
I'm
you
in the
on
wrong
there.
business.
You got to move your thing or
Ah, there.
something. Actually, you know what I do
is.
see? I see
I don't
some,
know.
some fans. I see the
Camera
beautiful
guy's
little
back there
cricket.
sleeping.
I won't say your name, but the beautiful little crickets in there. Zach and
It hasn't moved yet.
Susie, Billy Riggs.
I don't know if there's anybody I
You
know
fell
in
asleep
there.
back there.
Who?
You awake, Ron?
Oh, Ron. No, I think he fell asleep.
I know a couple of those people.
Well, let's see. Really Biggs.
Oh, yeah.
That's secret for Billy Riggs.
Zach.
So we've come up to, like-
What's up, everybody? Thanks
We're
for
jumping-
tuning in.
Way from when you were young to way ahead. So.
Oh, wait.
So let's
I-
just catch up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Well, anyhow, life was good, and I love Worcester, and we lived up by the college on this really great brick street with all these maple trees and these big old houses.
It's cool
and
down there.
It was very nice, and so I'm gonna.
Just bugging me that I can't see.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Our guest, the microphone, is talking.
So anyhow, I'm now 10 years old. I'm short, not a man of the world. And so she comes over to my house, Ruthie and myself, my nanny, and this black lady, she was a Broadway singer. So anyway, she goes, Elizabeth, David's got it here, and he's got it in here for that guitar, but we need to put it music-wise. So she says, you're the expert, sign him up. The interesting thing about Ruthie, she had 6 years of college from Carnegie Mellon in music
Wow.
in the 50s. Now that's a black lady. Now that
Right.
was cool.
That's really cool.
She was so amazing, very petite, a beautiful lady, and I'm going to tell you who she introduced me to when I was 6 years old. You're going to lose it. Your audience will lose it. I'm a very fortunate man. I mean, I've had so many wonderful things happen in my life.
That's what it sounds like.
So I'm 6 years old, still short, still not a man of the world, and she sits down with me. She says, Davey, I've got some friends coming to have lunch with us. They're entertainers. They're performing in Ohio. They're going to stop in and have lunch. So I'm in the front yard playing. I had that thing, my guitar sitting there, which looked like an upright bass to my size. And I'm playing with these trucks, and this caddy pulls up, and this black guy gets out, and he pulls out a little amp in this case. He comes up and goes, young man, is this Ruth Williams? I said, yes, sir. He goes, well, thank you, son. He walks up. I think, he's got a guitar. I have a guitar. I just pulled up my guitar, and I'm falling up. And she introduces me to him, and he says, well, come on, son, let's go in the kitchen and play. And he teaches me this G minor 6 chord, and I'm sitting there trying to play it, and I'm like this, And he starts ripping these licks, shaking his head. He's having a good old time. We had lunch. They talked. We jammed a little bit more, gave us hugs. He's gone. About 3 weeks later, this old-fashioned tour bus pulls up in front of Ruthie's house. These black and white guys are getting on with horns and stuff, and this lady gets off the bus, and Ruthie's ecstatic. So she introduces me to her, and Ruthie had this huge music room with a grand piano and stuff, and what I liked the best was she had card tables set up with food on it, because I love to eat. So anyhow, am I boring you?
No, he's
Okay.
trying to get
No,
you
he's
so he
checking
can
the
see you on the
producing.
camera.
Oh, I'm sorry. So anyhow,
Well, we have different camera angles, but
We have so many new operating things.
Yeah.
it's like, where am I? So anyhow,
There he is.
hey, it's
Welcome
Dave.
to the show, Dave.
Hey.
Dave's right here.
Dave wasn't here, man. No, he is. So.
Dave's here. So anyhow,
Wait, did you tell me who the guitar player was, or you're building up?
oh,
to
I'm
that?
building this up.
Okay.
Oh,
all
it
right,
sounds.
I got
I'm
you.
loving it. I'm ripping it.
So anyhow, she introduced me to this lady. So we go into Ruthie's music room, which was a huge room, beautiful room, and she had this grand piano. So she's at the piano, jamming with their piano. And the guys are blowing their horns, and this lady's got me in her lap. I'm trying to play my guitar. And she's singing in my ear. I'm like, yeah. And life was good. They left, and about 4 weeks later, the doorbell rings. These 2 black ladies are standing at the door, and they look like they were going to eat me for lunch. And I'm looking up. I'm like, Annie, Ruth, help! And so I just disappear. One was the entertainer. The other was the road manager. And so anyhow, after lunch, she says to me, the entertainer says, David, get your guitar and meet me at the piano. And she plays a series of notes. And she goes, can you play those? And I went right to my guitar and played them. And she just looked at me and said, that's great. The reason I did that was I didn't realize till I went to college that I had a very severe auditory learning disability. And when I was a kid, my mom would say, David, I want you to do this, 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 and this. And I would do that because I didn't process that.
You found the shortcut.
I spent a lot of time in bedroom prison. So anyhow, but when it comes to music, I can hear something and I can weave my leads in and out of what I'm hearing and try to do the best I can with that. And so she's singing these notes like ba ba da doo doo ba da, which we call scatting, I guess. The guy on the guitar was B.B. King.
I was gonna say, if you say he had Lucille with him, I'm gonna shit.
Oh my gosh.
The lady that held me in the music room, in her room all afternoon was Sarah Vaughan.
Oh my God.
You might want to buckle up. The lady at the piano was Ella Fitzgerald.
Oh, no way.
Now, I'm 6, dude. I'm telling you what, listen, I'm 6 years old. I'm short. I'm not a man of the world. I want to go out and ride my bike. It was very difficult to take selfies with Brownie cameras because they were awkward.
Right.
Okay. So we didn't even know about selfies back in those days.
Right.
But it was a great experience. I did run into Sarah Vaughan later on. And
That's amazing.
And B.B. King in Chicago. I was performing in Chicago for the Chicago Blues Fest in '91. And Nancy and I went back after my
Made the
performance.
hair on my arm stand up.
We went back to his trailer, and he was on that night, and I reintroduced myself. He said, I do remember you. And he had my wife and I on stage with him at the side with a monitor. They were bringing us drinks and stuff, and he's like 10 feet away from
That's
us
amazing.
performing for 30,000 people. So I've had some great life experiences.
Oh, I want to hear more.
I've got some more.
So what happened after that? So when you're like that age,
I took guitar lessons from this one guy. He was an idiot, so we quit. And he didn't like the way I played because...
He's back here enjoying the show.
He's enjoying the show, he said.
Yeah.
So right after Vietnam,
You
I
can
was-
watch it.
wait a minute. You're
You can
jumping
watch
way
it later
ahead.
on.
You're jumping way ahead.
Well, I
What-
need to jump ahead. I need to jump
Oh,
ahead.
for
a
that
little bit.
story? Okay.
Yeah.
So I get out of Vietnam, and I was living in Mansfield, Ohio, and I was going to school.
Inside or outside
Yeah,
of
right,
the
right, right. That's what I was going to ask.
Not that place, no.
That had to be a real bitch.
Just checking.
You got that right. You dropped your soap. Okay. So anyhow, I went to a musician's jam, and what we did is you pitch money in. We rented an industrial park, and they put a stage up, and we had the best part was the sawhorses with plywood, and kegs of beer and sandwiches. That was good. So they had cans, and you had like lead guitar, rhythm, keyboards, and you filled out 2 forms, rolled them up, stuck them in, and they would draw one of each. They formed a band, and you had 20 minutes to jam and do something.
That's awesome.
So I'm up with this band, and I'm doing my thing, and this black dude is standing down there looking at me, and he's all dressed up, man, and he's kind of checking me out, and they drew my name in a row for the next band, and I told these guys, I said, leave my equipment, I'm going to grab a beer and a sandwich. When I jump off stage, I go over, this guy follows me. Excuse me, old age. So anyhow, he comes up to me, and I nodded, and he goes, nice licks, man. I said, thank you. He goes, I haven't heard too many people play jazz and blues over rock and roll before. And I said, do you like that? He goes, that was nice. He said, are you with anybody? I said, no, man. I'm just, He said, you got to come to rehearsal. I like your style.
If you say Miles
said-
Davis, I'm just going to shit.
No, this is better. So I look at my watch, and he goes, no, man, you'd have to come to New York. And I go, New York? He goes, well, I have a warehouse. We have a stage inside. We have bedrooms, and with all individual bathrooms, common area, kitchen, and all this. We rehearse before we go on the road.
Right.
Real deal.
Pre-production.
He says, I'll fly you up. So he flew me up, but first I said, who are you? He goes, my name's Grover Washington Jr.
What?
And I said,
Wow.
what do you play? He goes, saxophone. I didn't know who he was.
Right.
So I went a few months with him on the road.
Was he a Blue Note artist?
Huh?
Was he a Blue Note artist?
I have no clue.
Blue Note, they did all the jazz.
They did, but he was so good. I mean, he thought outside the box. I think that's the way he liked me. But I ended up coming back home.
What's confusing me is you said Grover and he said Blue, and I just can't get the Sesame Street guy out of my head now. So.
Sesame Street.
Are we talking about the same Grover here or no? So,
Grover Washington Jr.
okay,
yes.
not the same.
So
Grover.
anyhow, when I got back to Worcester, or back to Mansfield, I moved back home, and my youngest sister, Robin,
Hey, Nick.
said to me, a girlfriend of mine is dating this guy, just did an album, and you need to go here and play guitar. And I'm like, whatever. So I go over, and I said, where's it going to be? She goes, at Mansfield at the Ohio State Branch Library.
Nice.
I said, you're having a concert in the library? That was a good catch. The Guardians are looking for people like you. So anyhow, I said, who's this guy? She goes, his name's Phil Keggy. So we went to Mansfield, and we went sitting there, and in comes Glassharp, and it looked like the Beatles in reverse, because the drummer looked like John Lennon, and the bass player looked like George Harrison. So there's Phil, and he's playing these licks, and I'm crying. I'm like, who is this guy, man? He just flipped me out. And she goes, you want to meet him? I'm like, yes. I'm bowing. And I've known him for the last, 50 years.
Holy shit.
But after that, I was living back in Mansfield, and a girl came to my, it was an old Victorian home. It had 5 apartments. I was downstairs. I had the main one. And she knocks, and she said her name was Tina Simmons. And I said, okay. She says, my mother lives here in Mansfield, and I'm visiting from England. My husband just finished tour. Now, I didn't make the connection right away. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, who's your husband? She goes, Kim Simmons. And I went, yeah. So anyhow, I get her to the apartment, and she had their little daughter, Tabitha. So the next day, I get a knock on my door. There's this tall, blonde Englishman. He goes, hello. And I went, are you Kim Simmons? He goes, I ripped him inside my apartment. And I said, oh my God, man. I said, you're looking in, the album was amazing. He says, well, I'm working on a new album called Hellbound Train. So I took him upstairs to see Tina, and I said, come down later, please. I'll give you a beer. So he comes down, and I had all my equipment. His was shipped over. He said, I'm working on this new album. So I said, well, I'll work on it with you. I said, give me the chords and leads and stuff, and we'll work back and forth. And so I knew all the songs. So anyhow, they went back to England, and I get this call from Tina. She goes, Kim wants to know if you want to join him on tour. And I said, really?
No.
She goes, yeah, well, you know all the songs, and he owes you something for that. And he said 9 cities would be enough. He'll pay you handsomely, as handsomely it is. So
Hell yeah.
it was great. So I ended up with them, and our warm-up bands ended up with Fleetwood Mac and John Baldry's band.
Oh, that's nice.
So I did 9 cities, came home. My parents, of course. Now, parents, my parents were professionals. They sit down across from me. I got all this hair. And my mother says, are you a good guitar player? And I went, I am good. My dad goes, young guys are going to want to cut heads with you. And I said, I'll learn their licks and steal them. And my mother says, like all moms, you're going to have health care?
Oh, jeez.
I don't know, Mom. I'm like 23. I'm healthy. And my dad says, you're going to have a retirement. Parents, right?
Yeah.
I said, no. So my mom says, maybe you should get that curly haircut and get a real job or go back to school. So I got it cut from about here to here. And I ended up at Ashland College. I had a degree already in accounting and management. And so I went back for my education degree in special ed and regular. I had a K through 12 any subject. They don't do that anymore. It was a weird, rare thing. And then I have a master's in administration and supervision and postgraduate work in curriculum
And back then,
development.
that all cost like $1.50.
Yeah, but you only made $1.50.
Yeah.
But still.
All that education now is like $300,000.
I remember when I taught high school, I had these kids that were getting their license, and I said, when I started when I was driving when I was 16 in 1966, gas was 23 cents. I said for $1, I could get 2 gallons of gas, buy a pack of smokes, get a bottle of Pepsi and a candy bar and get change back. And they're going, no way. I said, it's called inflation. And I told him, I said, if I had an extra $1, I could show a girl a good time. I could take her to McDonald's. You could get 2 meals for $1.
Right.
So freaked them out,
So you were already pretty heavy into music by the time the Beatles showed up. What was that like?
I love the Beatles.
You seen them on Sullivan?
I did.
I mean,
but the
who
first
didn't
time I
back
heard
then?
about them, it was a Sunday
I'm getting
after.
the feeling you probably saw at least one of them in person.
I did, that.
I do.
Paul McCartney, yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember it was a Sunday afternoon, and Walter Cronkite was on the air. He says, this is Walter Cronkite. We're going to talk about these long-haired guys from England, 4 guys called the Beatles. And I'm like, I got to watch this.
Yeah.
And it was so cool. And their music for the time was right on. Those guys wrote the best. They changed the music industry.
Sure.
And,
That's right.
And they're worth bazillions of dollars, and at least Ringo and Paul is.
How old were you?
But I was 14, 1964. I was born in 50. I'm older than dirt.
I was standing on the same stage as Paul and Ringo at the same time. I was a stagehand, though. It was at the Rock Hall induction ceremonies. There was all kinds of people standing around like, wow, this is crazy.
It's like
During
music,
rehearsals.
It's like music heaven, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
man.
like there was all kinds of people out. It was weird because they all had their little groups. You know what I mean? And everybody would come up and talk to Paul and Ringo, and then they'd mosey over to the other little group where Joe Walsh and such, and this dude was standing, and it was pretty wild. All the little,
Right.
all their little groups that they have, their buddies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty wild in that their industry. So the question I was going to ask you way earlier is, what all films have you scored?
Okay. The one I did in Pennsylvania was, all of them are music related. Hello. They're all music.
Join us.
I'm old. I drift. Okay. So anyhow,
He's way back here.
I know, man. That mic is loud.
Get the Zoom.
You
Man,
can
it
turn
could be
it
my
down.
monitor.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
this it right
Yep,
here?
the first one.
That's you.
Hello. Oh, jeez.
Does that matter?
Rookie.
I thought I was scheduling for earplugs or something. So anyhow, where was I at?
Scores, movie
Scores. I thought it was scored. No, that was the wrong thing. So I started.
score,
I
man?
started doing. I have a minor in radio and television and movies and stuff, and so I had all this camera equipment. I said, you know what? I'm going to start putting music videos or music documentaries together. The one I did was in Kittanning, Pennsylvania, the Kittanning Firemen's Band. How I got into that, I was working on another one called Street Sounds. It was a 3-part documentary on Memphis, Nashville, and Chicago, because before 1950, before what's his name, did Sun Studios, and I just lost his name, but they used to record in California at RCA and Columbia, the big studios. Well, they started Sun Studios in a garage, and he had this room that went lengthwise, and that's what they used for reverb. And it sounded so good, and the people in Chicago were trying to imitate that, but they couldn't.
That's right.
So you had Sun Studios in Memphis, and in Nashville you had RCA Studio B, and then Chicago you had their studios there. And so I wanted to do a 3-part documentary about those changes and because Sun Studios, they discovered Elvis and Johnny Cash.
$1 Million Quartet.
It was awesome. So I wanted to do one at each of these places and do a historical timeline and a little bit about the history of Memphis, Nashville, and Chicago when it comes to that great music. And
I just wonder if I do this.
hi there.
Then we can see
Can I
you.
scoop my chair up a little bit?
Triggered your OCD.
This is driving me nuts, dude. I'm telling you.
You know,
I'm freaking out.
you should sit on Tom's lap.
When your boy fell asleep back there, so that other view is not
I will
there.
not sit on Tom's
We
lap.
could
He's
make like
enjoying the show, apparently.
Was Detroit going then too? Music City?
Yeah, but there's more of Chicago. I mean, Chicago was sort of like, okay, history lesson, Emancipation Proclamation. When they freed all the slaves, these guys, they had no jobs. They did have jobs, the slaves. So they're hanging out, and the people that were trying to plunk on guitars were sitting on street corners doing their thing. Well, people, their relatives in Chicago would write them and say, you need to come up. We got work. There's industry up here. When they went up there taking that sound, you got that urban Chicago blues sound.
Right.
And then the other people
They call that the Delta, wasn't it?
that goes down into
Or
Louisiana.
that's the
off the
you go down to
Mississippi.
what's the one
Louisiana.
up there then?
Yeah, they had jazz, and then the people went to New York to jazz. Jazz in Louisiana was a different style.
Different.
So it was
Yeah,
like,
'cause
it
it
all
all-
started in the South.
Right.
So I did the documentary. I wanted to do it. Well, COVID hit. That didn't happen. So I had people call and say, don't come down, you get shot. So I said, I don't want to do that. So Kittanning one was about the Kittanning Firemen's Band. I was in the store one night. It was a Friday. I was getting ready to close, and this guy walks in. And he introduced himself, says, I'm from Kittanning, Pennsylvania. He says, I wanted to come in your store. I'm a percussionist. I said, what are you doing here? He goes, I'm working on the Carrollton, the big power company. Or they put this big $1 billion
Big
plant in
fracking
down there.
thing down
Yes.
there. Yeah.
So he was one of the
pad.
general managers. And he says, I'm in a band. And I said, what band do you in? He goes, I'm in the Kittanning Firemen's.
Nice catch, sir. You ain't lost nothing.
yeah.
You ain't lost nothing.
Mr. Miyagi.
Die. So anyhow, so I said, Kittanning Firemen's Band, is that a rock band? He goes, no, it's a marching band. I went, what? He goes, we're a civilian military marching band, and they're the oldest in the country. They've been around since 1948. Now, the guys, some of them are dead now, okay? But they've kept it going. They've done done some albums. So I thought that would be an interesting musical. So I went over, I took my one girl, Abby, with me. We went, and her dad went with us once for the parade. They would win all these awards. They're amazing.
How big is the band?
Probably about 40 some people.
Wow.
And we went over and did a documentary. We did about 48 or 14 hours of film for a 48-minute documentary. I did one on the enrichment program here in Canton with Betty Smith. She's part of the Arts and Stark. She takes urban kids. They teach them how to grow food, how to cook, dance, theater, music lessons, everything. She's 85, 86, and she doesn't look it. She's amazing. She's a powerhouse. And they have a really cool drum corps, too. And so I actually did if you know who Rob Hankins
Rob
was,
Hankins. Yeah.
I interviewed him, last interview before he left for Boston. And I really liked Rob. He used to come here and we played.
I liked Rob, too. He was a worthy adversary. I was part of Canton Godzilla when they brought the kimonos in with the Timken show. And we had this thing called Canton Godzilla with all the outsider artists. Since they weren't invited to the big parade, we did our own thing. And Hankins and me kind of went round and round a couple times.
You guys all point up at the sky and say, Godzilla!
But it was all cool. And yes, there was a lot of that going on, yeah.
I feel a song coming on.
I
like Rob, though. Rob has a show now. He does this thing out of Boston. He gets on, he talks about it. You ever watch that?
No.
It's pretty cool. He's different.
I was friends with the guys down at Acme Art Gallery and 2nd April and some of the other galleries down there.
Did he pick up the Chowda accent now? Or no?
Hey, Chowda's a little more...
Got a quota. So
Yeah,
no.
cool.
I gotta go pop the guy up.
I want some
Pop the
lobster.
guy.
Minerva is a part of the Arts and Stark program, and if you've been to the artwork on the buildings,
I love it.
Yeah.
We have that art gallery right down from my store, and they got the brewery, the Sandy Springs, which is awesome. So
Look at you. Instead of
Just
me.
like-
I have a black belt in Nats.
Right.
I don't know where they come from. I was just telling them guys, I don't see them, and then we turn these lights on, and all of a sudden
I mean,
they're coming out.
But I did
we
notice
talk shit about shit.
Yeah, I
so,
guess.
I mean, it's just
I
a
noticed
tragedy.
every
me
time he lifts his arm, there's a gnat.
comes flying out.
Wow. Wow. Who's going there with it?
May the gnats of 1,000 potatoes infest your armpits.
Right.
So there's one I'm going to be working on currently. It's a 9-year-old girl. She's a piano prodigy, and I've been doing some research with people out of Case Western and Kent on child prodigies, what makes a child prodigy, and doing research. And it's going to be more intrinsic. I want it to be more emotional and upfront. I don't want this just cut and dry thing. I want something with a lot of no lighting. I want it really kind of cool the way I want to set it up. But
You're making all those producer hands now,
I am.
Director. Get it right.
Director hands.
How about producer/director? I'm like a one-man show
Now,
sometimes.
you wear way many hats.
I do. And I write my books. I have a book series called Eugene and My Summer Adventures. And my books start with my daughter because it has something to do with the story that ends with her. And the first book is called Grabbing the Sky. And I used to go on bicycle trips when I was a kid. I used to love to ride to different neighborhoods. And my chain broke, and this kid comes out and says, "Bring your bike up, I'll fix it." And he was my age, and he played basketball. And I didn't shoot basketball with a diddly squat. And he showed me how to set up my shots. Well, he ended up moving, and it disappointed me. And he gave he knew my dad was laid off. My parents had the money saved, but he got laid off. So the neighbor lady had a basketball. Sam left me his basketball. He says, "Hey, I know your dad's at work. I thought maybe you could have this and you could shoot baskets until somebody buys the house." Well, the funny part is, one night at dinner, my dad says, "We got our contracts. We're going back to work." And he said, "Your mother and I have been holding this back, saving money. We bought a house." Get in the car, and I'm pissed because I got to move. I don't want to move, man. And we're in the car. My sisters are yapping, and my parents talking. I'm sitting here, and I notice the street, and I'm going, "This is familiar." We pull in the driveway, and it's Sam's house. We bought this kid's house.
Oh, wow.
So I went up to the school because Worcester had like 9 elementary schools back then, and this one was Parkview. So I
They had
decided
a school for each kid in Worcester.
almost.
Yeah.
And so I took my bike up, and these bullies picked on me and kicked me out of the playground. It was a big ass playground. And I said, "Hey, I just wanted to see where I'm going to be going to school." "Get out of here." He's like chasing me.
Get out of here, you long
Well,
hair.
they caught up with me down by my house and threw me off my bike, and they were going to beat me severely. And Eugene came up behind me with his German Shepherd and saved my butt. And he knew Sam, and so Eugene and I started to become friends. Well, we went out on a bicycle ride, went to the stone quarry. We're 200-300 feet up at the edge of this thing, and the helicopter goes by, and Eugene's going. I said, "What are you doing, man?" And he goes, "Didn't you ever want to grab the sky?" No. And he goes, "Didn't you ever want to fly?" I said, "Yeah, that'd be kind of fun."
Then he threw you off the 200-foot thing. And...
It hurts. No, so anyhow, so we came up with the idea that we could build our own airplane. So we had a big backyard and had a stone wall about 4 foot. So we were on the other side, and we told my parents, I lied, avoiding bedroom prison. I lied and said we were building a clubhouse. It was like an airplane. We got schematics from Piper. We built a J3 Piper is what it was, but without the cockpit. We just lowered, and we had the wings down lower. We built it from scratch. We built it according to specs.
How old were you?
And 12, going on 13.
And then later, the Smashing Pumpkins stole your idea and made a video called
They
Rocket. And,
did, those assholes. So anyhow, well, unbeknownst to my parents, we did get it out of the backyard. We had his cousin Bruce, who liked to chew tobacco and spit it in my mom's garden. And took it. My grandparents were in Washington, D.C. So I told my mom, Eugene and I'll take care of the house while they're gone over the weekend. Little did she know we're going to fly that plane off the back hill. So
we're through the house.
So my grandfather had put a path through that was pretty wide, about 8 feet wide, through about 2 acres of woods. And behind, there was like this triangular precipice. And then this hill went down 45 degrees for 700 feet into a wheat field behind this allotment. So we've got it propped up, camping out overnight. We're going to fly that sucker the next day. But only one of us could get in it. So, and Eugene, every time we made our money by mowing yards and collecting pop bottles. We made
old school.
Yeah, I remember that.
So Eugene had this 50-cent piece, and every time we go to mow yard, he'd flip it and say, "Call it." And then if you lost, you had to mow, or you had to do the shrubs. I'd rather mow. So anyhow, and so the day comes, we're sitting there, the windsock is full out. I'm going, okay. Eugene says, "Okay, call it." And I called heads. It came up heads. And I reached down.
Heads you win, tails she loses.
I flipped it over and I said, "You won." He puts his football helmet on, puts his shoulder pads on. He crawls into this thing. He's checking the flaps. Everything is good. The windsock's going full. I said, "Here we go." And I gave him a shove, and I'm running down. I trip because this hill is steep. I'm rolling. He's going down. And I'm like, and all of a sudden the plane goes, Doom. I'm going, oh my God, he's flying. I'm going, Eugene, you're flying. And as he goes to grab the sky, his leg hit the control from the back flaps.
Oh, shit.
The flaps came up, the nose goes up, but there's no engine. And Eugene went down.
Stalled out.
It looked like a maple leaf in the fall dropping, hits the ground on the right wing and bust and goes over. And I'm going,
oh, shit.
I'm running down this
Yeah,
hill,
no
zigzag.
shit.
And I get down there and I don't see him. I think, oh my God, I killed him.
Right.
And I should have been in the plane. And I hear this, "Let me out of here." And I lift the tail up. And he crawls out and goes, "That was so cool." So
Let's do it again.
So I have a book coming out hopefully soon before Christmas. It's called The Flying Disc. The following summer.
Help! Help! I'm falling! Oh!
Wow, you didn't know we had soundtrack from
I'm just
live sound
like
from
that.
that event.
You give a guy a toy and he just plays with it, man. So anyhow,
Well, that's kind of true of all of us, I would say. So I mean, yeah.
well, we built a.
Oh, he come back alive. He did.
Hey,
He's with us again. Look at that.
All right.
So we built a hovercraft the following year when I was 13.
wow.
What year did you
shit,
say
not
you
the
joined
hovercraft.
Mensa again?
It was 1963, 62, 63. So anyhow, what happened was he saw Popular Science or Sports or Mechanics Illustrated, saw the Army had a hovercraft they had invented. He goes, "We can make that." And we did. And today it's sitting in 20 feet of water in the Stone Quarry Lake.
Oh,
Eugene says, "I think it'll go in water." And I said, "Yeah." And he took it out, had a football helmet on, his shoulder pads, and he spins it around. When he spun it around, when we built this, we had a 2.5 horse for the prop underneath and a 2.5 with things that we could control. His guitar playing's awesome. So anyhow,
And
He's going to be a wild in
I
the
was
second
thinking
half.
about that
I told
earlier.
him to take
he
it
is
easy.
so good,
I forgot
man.
to put the beat on for
You'll
me.
meet Eddie Van Halen in the next half.
Oh, God.
and a related story, two of your neighbors had disabled mowers.
No, we got him from a junkyard. We put them all back together. So anyhow, he spins it around and hits this tree branch sticking out, and it breaks the. We took a 5-foot swimming pool. That's what we used for underneath.
The little plastic ones in kiddie pools.
Blow it up.
Scooby-Doo.
Oh, those ones. Gotcha.
Well, we found these 2 old industrial fans at the junkyard. It had the cages around them, so we put that underneath and in the back, so nobody would die.
Your IQ's got to be like a 247.
Sounds like McDiver.
Oh my God!
Really dive right into that shit, boy.
Here's some toothpicks and
he's
gum.
calling him
Make something.
Eugene, but he went on to be Evil Knievel, you know him as nowadays. So.
But he spun it around, broke the air's coming out, and it's going, and there goes that. All I saw was the helmet. He's dog paddling in. So it's sitting in 20 feet. I think there's probably the engines are left, and that's about it. But
it's a good place to go magnet fishing.
I used to tell, when I taught school on Fridays, when I was teaching elementary, I tell the kids, you turn all your homework in, and we'll have a popcorn pop party an hour before you get the bus on Friday, and I'll tell you Eugene stories. And the kids are like, yes! And I remember my mother.
Did you say a popcorn pot party?
Listen, you got to do what you do to keep
Okay,
the
I
guys
was like, damn, that sounds like a good party to
Everybody
me.
wanted to go to school.
We're hotboxing.
I was the best.
We love Mr. Krajcik's class.
What does that say? I'm getting sued? Oh, great. Okay, no. So anyhow, but the kids loved it. So I remember my mother called me one Sunday. I think I was 48
This is
years
all
old.
for entertainment, don't forget. So
I know.
That's right, kids. It's
Say what you
entertainment. Don't believe
Right.
nothing we say.
he's just making that up.
I plead the fifth. So anyhow,
We got people asking where they can get your books actually on there.
Amazon. You can get them Books A Million. They're sold in all bookstores. They're sold in Japan and Germany. You can get them on Amazon.
Do you have a pen name or is it just?
It's my full name. It's just Eugene and My Summer Adventures. The first book's called Grabbing the Sky, and it's David Allen, Allen Krajcik,
Funny because there was
Krajcik.
for the hearing impaired. You remember there was a band in Minerva called
special ed teacher.
was it Kiss the Sky? I think. Do you remember that band? They were down from the area around there. Kiss the Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a friend in Worcester named Mike Bayless. He's out in Oregon now. Great guitarist. He had a band back in the day called Stick People, Worcester. They were awesome. Really good. Anyhow, back to the story.
Yeah.
So anyhow, what was I talking about?
Well, you were talking about Popcorn Day.
Oh,
on,
yeah.
Oh, and then my mother. I'm 48. My mother calls
See
me.
what that shit does
The
to you?
kids.
We smoke mushrooms around here.
Yeah,
by the way, just so you know.
mushroom smokers.
We're big mushroom smokers.
Well,
That's for you, Mom.
I do mushrooms in my spaghetti. So anyhow,
right.
my mother calls me and says, "Dave,
want
I have some
spaghetti at
sorry
your house."
news. Eugene passed away."
Oh.
And he was like 48. I said, "What?" She goes, "He had heart
Congestive heart failure.
Yes. And I went to school that Monday, and I sat my 6th graders down. I said, "Look, I have some sad news." And their response was, "We thought you made him up." But one of my girls in the class that I noticed that she was sucking on a binky, she was sitting in the back of the class. She's just crying. I had to go back and console her. I said, "Oh, come on, Roxy, it's okay." And she said, "But he was your friend." I said, "I know." So we spent a half hour talking about what friendship is and stuff. And
That's
it's kind
good.
of made it work in.
The universe.
But I missed him. He was a really good guy. He was a TV producer down in West Virginia. And the interesting thing about him,
Did he do the show down there? Who's My Father?
no.
Damn, I missed.
So they moved back to West Salem, Ohio before he died. And I decided to go over and see his wife and just introduce myself to him. And I felt bad. And she says, "Why don't you come in the house? Would you like a cup of coffee?" And I said, "Sure." And the daughter was sitting on the couch and we're talking. And she comes in and we're just making small talk about Eugene. And the front door opens. She says, "Dave, I need you to come. I need to meet somebody." And there stands Eugene. I mean, his son. And she goes, "David Allen, I want you to meet David Allen."
Oh, man, that's got to kill you in a good way.
It was amazing. It was
That's
amazing.
awesome.
So, yeah. So I have great memories. So I write my books. The 3rd book is called The Big Race. That bully that tried to beat me up before in junior high and high school, he tripped
Somebody
us in
out
the
there
hallway.
showing love.
He was an ass. So anyhow, he challenged me. He got, those new
Horse
Schwinn.
was flying, Amber, I think.
Do you remember those Schwinn bikes?
Yes.
5-speed here.
Yeah.
Oh, those are-
So
Banana
he
seat, slick on the back.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He got one
We
of
remember those.
He thought he was hot shit. So anyhow, he says,
If you had one of those, you were kind of hot shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
you got all the girls who had one of them bikes.
The banana seat so you can bring your girl along.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Come here and sit on a
And
banana,
if she,
girl.
look, if she was heavy, you could kick it down into first gear. And,
"Come sit
pedal
on
your
my
ass off."
banana.
yeah.
Sit on my banana. So anyhow,
That was your pickup line back then. That was
Yeah.
book number 4, Sit on My Banana.
we need to call 991. Okay. So anyhow, the third book is called The Big Race, and this guy challenged me to a bicycle race. So Eugene and I were in our favorite junkyard looking around. Eugene pulls this gear out that was like this big, and he's looking at it, and he says, "I think we could put this on a bicycle." So we need to talk to my dad, see if he can weld some stuff. So
We got
put
this rocket engine.
We did. We put it on a. That's another story.
That's what I was going to go
I knew it
next.
was coming.
We did that. We put 6
We
of them
know
on
you
a
did.
bicycle. It went like hell, man. So
Big
anyhow,
D's too.
we put this on, did the chain, checked it out. So his cousin Bruce, the tobacco splitter,
Oh, I thought it was an
took
Italian
his truck.
thing.
We started. It took like 2 men and a boy to get this
twice.
bike going.
Right.
Once you got it going, full tilt, sucker went 50 miles an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, with
So,
that big old sprocket on there.
He
yeah.
challenged me to a race, and we went in this old back country road. We did a quarter of a mile, tagged it out, and half the junior high showed up.
Jeez.
So he takes off. Well, he's going like crazy, and it, 3 men and a boy to get this thing
You're
going.
right.
But once I got it
They
going,
were getting it. Yeah, and you was barely moving
Wow.
too.
so the last book is called.
Oh, get that big old sprocket.
Oh yeah,
The last book's called Sit on My Banana, right?
Grabbing the Sky Again. It starts with my daughter getting her pilot's license because Eugenia we got her license when we were 16, and that's
Gary
a whole.
says talk about 10-to-1 ratio.
We were algebraic formulas. So anyhow, it starts with my daughter doing her first solo, then it goes into the book with Eugene and I wanting to go get flying lessons. But this really happened. We were up in a Cessna 150. It's really interesting. You could be 16 back then, have your pilot's license, without an adult, rent an airplane.
Wow.
Get the f out of here.
Hey,
I didn't say.
Oh, yeah.
you
He's
got
getting good at
almost.
controlling that, by the way. Nicely
So
done.
we're up flying. He's left seat. I'm right seat. I'm just hanging out.
Man, I'd have been
He's
all,
flying.
all over that if I would have been a
We're
kid.
about
been able to do that
3,100 feet, and the prop stops.
Oh, man.
And Eugene's going, I said, what is the glide ratio of a 150? He goes, I think it's 8-to-1. I said, okay. So we're looking around and we see this farmer's field with 2. Thank you. You do that. So, we're going to die. We're going to die.
Giving him a flash.
So anyhow, so we see these 2 trails going right through the middle.
Go ahead.
Dude, it was a diaper moment.
I
I'm telling you
know
what.
it was, bro.
I understand now what happened to Eugene's heart. He hung around you.
Oh, shit.
Dave is a bad man. So anyhow, we landed in this farmer's cornfield, and he comes out with a shotgun. He's like, "What the hell you doing?"
The commies!
I said,
Charlie's in my yard.
We're
So-
picking corn, sir. Sorry. We're hungry.
we kind of picked some corn. So anyhow, so I just enjoy writing, and it's just fun. And
With your love of
I got 2
aviation.
kids right now that got the book. They're doing their book reports. It's 9 weeks on it.
Did you ever run across Jack Parsons at all?
I
JPL?
know. I went up with the dad who flew for Eastern Airlines down on Route 9, Parsons Airfield.
No. Jack Parsons, the solid burning rocket fuel. He's the man who discovered how we're getting out into space.
Oh, well, there's the same guy with the same name named Parsons. That's
Yeah.
an airfield down on Route 9 going
I
to
ride
Carrollton.
on
No
that on my
shit.
Harley.
Wow.
I
You know
ride
what? That
Parsons.
gray
I
house
went up with
across
him
the
in his
street,
biplane.
Yeah.
Dude's name is
We were
Old
doing-
Man Parsons. Isn't that crazy?
There's a crater on the moon
In the
named
amusement
after him.
park?
Huh?
In the amusement
No,
park?
that
Oh.
gray house across the street. The
Oh.
guy, when I was growing up, the old man, his name was Parsons. Old Man Parsons.
Was it
Small
Gary
world.
Parsons with the
No.
Small
project?
world.
he
You
had?
should
I don't-
check
I don't
his
know, man.
series out they did on him a few years ago called Strange Angel. It's on. You can
Oh, that's cool.
check it out. It's really cool.
Now-
You'll
For,
dig-
for short, they call it
I think
Strangel.
You'll dig it.
So,
Strangel.
Zach says he took clarinet lessons from Gattuso's back in '63 for $2 a lesson. And then Gary said his son's riding out the hurricane in Florida, so he's tuning in and out. Well, we pray for your son, bro, and hope he gets through that
Sending
shit
good vibes
down
to
there.
everybody down
It was
there.
crazy.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For them
Did you
people
see
and the other one.
The people on the bridge leaving,
No, I haven't seen
they
no
can't
footage yet.
move.
That's scary.
It's going to hit right there. Thousands of cars right there.
I mean,
See, they
that's
told
scary.
him days ago to get the hell out of there. Everybody wants to wait till the last minute.
Gene
It's really
Odom,
happening. Yeah.
Skinner, Gene Odom, he's down there. He's waiting it out.
I was wondering what was up with Chad and them guys.
Chad's down there. He said it's not bad there. Griff from the podcast, he sent some video
He's
today.
in the middle of it.
Yeah, it looked pretty bad. So Griff, hang in there,
Yeah,
buddy.
Griff, bud.
Griff, Chad, any of you guys want to come up? I got plenty of room. So
I can't. JT said he's gonna just storm it out. And I
hunker
thought,
down.
It's
Yeah.
He says,
Crazy.
my condo's, I'm on the 3rd floor. My garage is taken care of. And I'm like, you're going to be ending up in Africa. It's going to blow you clear across the Atlantic.
Yeah.
So what
Gary
year,
says, great show.
what year did
tonight.
you end up graduating high school?
I didn't.
You didn't? So did you get drafted or did you join up?
I have to tell you a story. I like.
Will you? A real good story. I won't leave till you. Anthrax. Go ahead.
It's not about a man named Jed, but anyhow.
I was singing that in my head too.
I go to 7th grade. Now Worcester had my graduating class. I think was about 510 students, and you knew maybe a third, and there was 2 junior highs, and I went to the one that was attached to the big high school, and everything was good in 7th grade. I loved my school. 8th grade, I started getting bullied, and I would get punched in the mouth in the hallway, tripped down, thrown downstairs. They were hitting up about 3 or 4 of us. And it got really, really bad.
Bunch of bullshit.
And it went on and on. In my sophomore year, I just stopped. I just go in the front door, go out the back, and go home, light up a cigarette. And my mother took me to court, prosecuted me, and I was put on probation. And my junior year, I remember the assistant principal.
Didn't they show you a Reefer Madness movie? Didn't that just scare you away from all that stuff?
Oh no, I love it. So anyhow, I plead the 5th. So anyhow,
I'm on 27 edibles right now.
My hair was no longer than it is now, and the assistant principal, who did not like me, came up and he says, "Dave, get your butt home, get your hair cut, and come back to school." So my mom was in law. So I go home, I call her, she's pissed. "Get your butt down here and get a haircut then." On the table is the Worcester Daily Record, and on the front page was the assistant principal with a friend of mine with his arm around him as the kid's signing into his senior year at school, and he had hair on his shoulders. And I went,
Dick.
I took the paper with me, got on the city bus, went down to my mom's office, went up. She had a really cute secretary. So anyhow, and Mom gets me, and I said, "Mom, look at this." And she goes, I said, "There's John. Look at his hair. And he wants me to get this cut." And she goes, "Get him on the phone." I say, "He'll cuss me out." She goes, "No, he won't."
I'm going to cuss his ass out.
He said some words. I'd be putting money in there. And my mom says, "I've got this." And I heard her saying, "I'll give you 5 minutes to get your ass down in my office." And I went out, and her secretary, who I really liked, I said, "Carol, do you have $1.50? Because haircuts were only $1.50. And I said, she goes, "Why does I want to get my haircut?" She goes, "Don't tell my mom." She gives it to me. I said, "I'll pay you back." And I go down to this black barber downstairs. I like this guy named Joe. Joe goes, "Dave, what you doing in here?" I says, "Shave me." He goes, "What?" I said, "Shave it off." "You want me to touch it up?" I said, "Shave it." And
I look like Scatman Crothers when I leave out of here.
I walked upstairs, went into the office. Carol goes, "Oh my God." I sat down in the waiting area. My mom and the assistant principal come out. My mom looked at me and just like, "Holy shit." And I said, "I can't fight City Hall, Mom." I said, "John can have his hair long, but obviously I can't." But I ended up meeting that assistant principal as he was a superintendent later on when I was in college. And he couldn't believe I was in college. I have 9 years of college. I got my high school diploma in the Army. I volunteered I was at Fort Knox. Some dude comes through about the second weekend. I'm reading a book because no one else in the barracks could read, and I'm reading a book, and he comes in because anybody want to get their GED? Come with me. I said, what's a GED? God, this guy's good. And I said, you take some tests, 5 tests, you pass them, you get your high school diploma. I said, let's sign me up. So I took the test for a week, forgot about it. About 2 or 3 weeks later, we're dismissing for the end of the day, and we're standing at attention. Captain says, Private Krajcik, front and center. And I go, right there, oh, God, I know I got KP.
Yeah.
He goes, this is certified that Private Krajcik has completed and maxed the test and scored in the upper 15 percentile of the country and passed the GED. And I went to University of Maryland. I ended up going to Heidelberg in Germany for a while when I was stationed there. And
That's just me saying hi because you put the camera on me, so hi. Well, you know what? You like his guitar playing, but we're about the halftime of our show.
I was about to ask.
Yeah,
I thought
we have
we
a
was
little
getting
break.
close.
I wanted to say hi. We've got a world traveler on. Yeah,
we got 10 people there right now.
Yeah, Trish. Hi, Trish.
Set up here for you guys.
She's probably watching from her.
Take a little break.
From
we'll
her
be gone
Learjet,
for.
so.
you do know, at my age, I have a bedtime. It's like I go home, take my Geritol, sit down, fart, and go to bed. Okay?
You're halfway through, so.
Hey, I tell you
That's
what.
right, and we're going to go off the rails in the next half, so it'll be a lot more fun.
For my age, though, I do okay. I'm 74.
Wow.
You look great.
I'm going to 75. I don't know
So
about that.
hang in there, everybody.
When we come back, we're going to go over to Vietnam.
Yeah, Alex is going to jam out for you for a little bit, and we'll see you in about 5 or 10.
There are snacks and light refreshments at the front bar, hookers and cocaine in the back room. I know where I'll be. The second half of our program will begin momentarily, a little darker, slightly more sinister. Good times for all. Thank you and good night.
Go ahead. I'm just gonna get the drums on. Oh.
Hey.
Camera producer. Are we hot now?
Oh,
You can see him playing and
I
hear
told
us
him
talking.
to.
So.
You guys are wearing shades.
Fantastic.
I should go out and get my shades. I didn't realize you were wearing shades.
You got the stage
you
lights.
got the
I didn't
stage
have them
lights,
on the
yeah.
first part. Usually I have them on, but I didn't know where they were at.
Is that in case somebody's looking for you? You can kind of disguise yourself.
Incognito.
I'm an empath, and a lot of people like to bullshit, and it's all in the eyes.
That's right. That's right.
We're outside and he's telling us all kind of stories about Minerva music.
Oh
and
yeah.
the haunted buildings down there.
I know. Well, it's not. We haven't seen any. She got rid of. I think they got rid of everything.
How old is Minerva?
Minerva, established I think in 1883, maybe.
20 years after the Civil War.
Yeah.
You know what I remember about Minerva was Gus's Downtown Lounge. That was the bar that was so
Lord.
loud.
Oh Lord.
It was you could hear it like all the way to Malvern, I think.
It's a
and,
barber shop now.
Yeah, and people would dance on the bar. That was what it was known for. People would actually get up on the bar and dance.
If you're still out there, thanks, Trish. You're awesome, too, for tuning in. And Gary did poop, or Ed did poop, Gary.
Yeah.
Trish the World Traveler.
Muscle F the power shit.
In the outhouse.
Let's see, we got a world
Talking shit
traveler,
about
we
shit.
got a beautiful little cricket, we have a model in Amber, so yeah, quite the. And then we have Gary, the random fan who yells, "You got Al kicks ass" when he drives by. So, and Zach and Susie, they're probably getting ready to go to bed now, though. So.
I'm gonna have to get a hold of Trevor and talk to him, tell him I was here.
Yeah, tell him we said hey.
He'll lose. I will.
So when we left off, we were talking a little bit about Vietnam. So how old were you when you went over there? Were you 18?
I got there in I have to think about this. 69, 70. Last part of 69.
Because the first paper I ever published in a newspaper was about I saw a video where the hippies were spitting on the vets coming back, and it pissed me off.
You know, we landed in San Francisco, and I remember
Right on the hate?
right on the heat, baby. I was going down this long escalator, and I was on the edge, and there was this really good-looking girl standing down there with the long dress, flowers in her hair. She got flowers, and she smiles, and I smiled and said hi, and she spit a hawker right in my face.
Hey!
Oh, man.
Hey, you, lady. Come here.
Welcome to the United States.
Wow, welcome home.
Welcome home.
home. So yeah, it sucked to come home. Baby killer, this and that.
Of course.
You know, today you come home, you work in an office in Iraq, in an office, and you're still a hero, you know, and we weren't. We were.
That's
Did
crazy.
you see him spraying that Agent Orange and black and red everywhere over there?
Yeah.
Some of them books about them tunnel rats, too.
We had
That's what my
the
uncle
company
was,
I
a
was
tunnel rat
attached.
over there.
Mike and I were attached to this one company. That's where it was having the problem, and they had a tunnel rat, and we went out in the field with them. And this guy went down in the tunnel, which was about. This guy wasn't very tall, and
That's
the
why they were
tunnel
tunnel
was
rats,
the tunnel was about 6.5 feet deep, but his head was like this below it. Okay, and he pulls on a twig. He's checking things out, and there's a chain on it.
Oh.
He set off. When he pulled it, he knew he had to get out of there. Honest to goodness, he took and leaped completely out of that hole, his legs going. He jumped higher than 6 feet.
Wow.
The adrenaline.
Oh, yeah.
And he took off, and that thing blew. We were all down after that. I mean, but yeah, tunnel. You got to hand it to him, man. They were 800 miles of tunnels in Vietnam, and these guys were getting in there and.
My uncle Larry Fischel, that's what he did, and he had
Really?
some crazy stories about that. Yeah.
Gina says hi.
Mad respect
Gina.
for all the veterans.
Gina was the hottest hit chick in high school at Hoover back in the day.
What are
so,
you doing over there? Tearing your cord up and stuff?
Yeah.
What branch of the service were you in, Dave?
Army.
Army?
Yeah. Be all you can be.
All right.
And then
I-
when did you get approached to do the CID stuff?
That was after when I graduated. I started school,
Now civilians have no idea what CID is. So.
so it's okay. It was an investigative situation. I did MP. It was in Fort Leonard Wood. I remember I get, after basic training, get sent for my AIT over to Fort Leonard Wood. And I call my house. Mom wasn't home yet. And my sister Meredith, I go, hey, I'm at Fort Leonard Wood. She told my mom I was in Leavenworth.
He's in Leavenworth.
Mom's like, what the hell did he do now?
The cool thing about the Army is you get to travel to exotic, distant lands, meet exciting, unusual people, and kill them.
No.
I guess
well,
that's why I got spit on, I guess.
Jokes, man. Come on.
Yeah.
It's all for entertainment purposes.
I don't know. It made it look pretty good in the movie Stripes. I mean, that was.
Did you just do the one
That's
tour?
a fact, Jack.
Right.
That's
you
the
know?
fact, Jack.
Did you just do the one tour?
Yeah. Yeah, I know guys that were over there that had been on their second and third tours.
Right. I don't know how you'd go back.
Man, that would be, yeah.
I remember one night in the signal company, because Mike and I are attached, somebody was trying to kill the major and colonel in this company, and that's why we were sent over to figure out what was going on. We went a kind of undercover type thing. And we ended up catching the three guys. They got life in Leavenworth.
Wow.
And but Mike the company ended up having to go to Cambodia, and that's when they discovered that there was weapons of mass destruction in Cambodia at the border that they were going to fire in all along Vietnam. So the thing was they had to go in and take them out. So the Cambodian government, from what I understand, said yes, come in, get this, and that company went. I stayed back with the colonel. And Mike went with the major, and we flew in, the colonel and I, to see them. It was the last time I saw Mike, saw anybody. Most of the company was killed.
Wow.
They were on Shakey's Hill. There was a movie made about Shakey's Hill, I believe, but it was pretty bad. And I wanted to stay. I was going to come back as a civilian agent, and I wanted to either that or go into United States Marshal. Mike and I were planning to go into U.S. Marshals.
Marshals. Wow.
And we decided, that would be a good opportunity for us. And he got killed. And I said, screw it. I want to come home and play my guitar.
Yep.
Yeah,
Back to the music.
Yes. I turned down. I remember this one lady,
Make peace, not war. Music.
This one lady, she was a superintendent at a school where my daughter teaches. And she would get me out of class every day. Every week she'd call. I go down, Ruth Ann, what do you want? She goes, why don't you come out and talk to me? I said, no. You want me to be the assistant principal? And I said, assistant principals deal with snotty kids, bad parents, and I have to go to all the sports functions. I want to play my guitar.
Yeah.
And so I turned her down, but yeah. But
A lot of guys that went over there can't watch those movies. Did you watch Apocalypse Now? Because when you're talking about Cambodia, that's the vision I was getting.
Some of it I didn't mind. It was okay. I didn't have it as bad as some guys over there. Truly, I didn't.
Right.
But I remember when I was home, it was around Christmas time, and we're all sitting around at the fireplace. It was going, Mom threw in some green sticks or something, and I'm sitting by the fireplace, and my sisters and my stepbrothers were kind of hanging out. We're just watching this TV show, and it started popping like that, and I ended up across the room under a coffee table.
Wow.
And nobody said a word. They just looked at me, and I crawled back. I was crying. Back. Just kind of sat there and watched the TV. Was crying.
That'd be
But
tough.
they handled it. They did not.
That'd be tough.
They knew what was going on.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys that didn't recover. We have so many people right now, veterans living on the streets that have PSTD, and
Oh, yeah.
and nobody's doing
Nobody
anything
gives a
about
shit
it.
about
They don't
them,
give a
right.
shit about
That's
anything.
bullshit.
Bullshit.
Think about
Grade A
this.
bullshit.
I don't want to get into politics because,
Right.
And I do TV
divisive.
commercials. I have a lot of politicians come to me and say, "We should do a commercial for me." And I'm like, I don't do that.
Right.
I don't.
Because you're all
want-
full of shit.
Yeah.
And you don't do nothing for the people.
We got kids in Appalachia starving. We got kids all over the
Right.
country starving.
All over the country.
But yet, some of these illegals.
$30,000 on a card.
I saw that.
$10,000 on a
Yes.
card.
$2,000 apartments.
Free
paid for.
housing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't
And there's
understand
people,
that.
these, in low income neighborhoods can't get shit, nothing.
When
It's
I'm riding my
ridiculous.
Harley and I see a particular sign, I yell out "traitor." That's just what I yell because it pisses me off. So.
It's going to be an interesting next month and a half.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Oh man, you can't escape it. It's on the internet. the
Anyway,
TV, the
wasn't
radio.
you saying something about some haunted shit in a music?
Yeah, you know what? Actually,
Them
for
politics.
our guests out there, we had Trevor Tolley on previously, and it
Rose
turns
Hollow,
out
paranormal.
Well, you know what?
Dave is
I-
very familiar with.
I will
with
talk
Trevor.
about it. Some time ago, a couple years ago, I used to come in. When I first noticed, I was leaving the store one evening. And it was dark.
Minerva Music Center.
And I turned off all the lights. I was back in the repair shop, going to go out the back door to my car. And I looked at my monitor because I have cameras all over through the store. And I looked and I see this orb come floating by, and it's just like real slow, and it's round and you can see through it. It's not a bug. And I went, huh. So I started pulling the disc out every day and watching it. So one night I left the store. Next morning I come in, I pop it in, drinking coffee, and out of the floor comes about 30 to 40 orbs out of the middle of the carpet. And I'm like, and then 4 orbs flew in front of the camera. Wow. And one was solid white, 3 of them you could see through. And then they came this way, then one at a time they just floated off. And I'm like, holy crap. So
you still have the video of that?
Yeah, I do. And some lady had come in the store that has ghosts in her place, and she was talking to me, and I told her that. Well, somehow Trevor found out, and he contacted me. And then he brought his wife, Missy, who's a psychic medium, with him. And this was in February, March or so. And
she used to be a petite small. Now she's a psychic medium. So.
Wow. It's getting deep in the old house, isn't it?
It does.
So
sometimes.
anyhow, so he blindfolds her when she comes in the front door. And it was in the afternoon, and it was before school was out.
It'd be a lot worse sign if he said my wife's coming in and he blindfolded you, because then that would, but yeah.
I don't know. I have a bubble, man. Don't get near me. So anyhow, so we're walking through the store, and we go into that room where the orbs came out of, and she goes, I feel like I'm in a tunnel. I feel dizzy. And I thought, well, that's where the orbs came out. She didn't know that. And then she goes, I smell smoke. And did somebody hang themselves here? And I'm just like, well, I can explain the smoke, but I'm not sure about the other. And later on, I explained to her that there used to be an opera house from the one light that came up 4 buildings. It was a big opera house that burnt down prior to 1920. And the smoke that she smelled might be a residual kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know anything about anybody hanging themselves. I said, I don't know. We went back in the studio, recording studio, and she says, your mother's standing here. She's still blindfolded. I said, what's new? And she says, there's some lady with her. I don't know who that is. I said, it could be anybody. And she said...
maybe it was Ruthie.
But she said, your mother has a 3-syllable name, but she couldn't. I said, Elizabeth. She goes, yes. And she said she made something for your store. And I said, yeah, she made a quilt for over the coffee machine with a guitar on it. And she made some Betty Boop quilts for my guitars. And exactly. Mm-hmm. And so she says, there's a guy sitting in your conference room on the ottoman, and he's older and he's depressed. I said, what's his name?
Hey, you.
That sounded just like my dad. So I go,
why are you staring at me?
I go, what's his name? I like this. I like the cutaways. This is great. It's like being on the Family Guy. So anyhow, she goes, oh, his name's Albert. His name's Albert. I said, well, that was my father. That's my father. And anyhow, so they come back in June.
You see me looking at you?
You looking at me? So anyhow, so they come back, and there's orbs all over. I mean, they're filming all over. They brought their own cameras, obviously. We're down in the basement. Sam, the cameraman, Missy, and I. We're in the back of the. My building's 140 feet deep, so we're in the very back. I have a 3-car garage under. So we're back there, and I feel cold. And Trevor noticed an orb go behind me.
I forget the reverb.
Behind me.
The orbs.
License plate 352W. You left your lights on. So anyhow.
Back in the basement.
Back to the basement. So she says, who are you? Later on, reviewing the tape, an entity says, I own the building, jackass. Wow. So anyhow, we go up to the front where the lesson rooms are in the basement, and we're in a little hallway like thing, and Sam's there. Missy and I are here, and I have some lumber that I had piled up. She put the REM pod on it, and we were asking questions. Nothing's happening, and I turn around and I look, kept turning around. Third time I looked, there's a guy standing behind me, about 6 feet tall, dark hair, pure white as this mug or this pig, and the pig.
It's a singing pig.
The singing pig. So anyhow,
You know why you F a duck and not a pig?
I don't know.
Because a
Please.
pig will squeal on you.
I won't take this abuse anymore. So anyhow,
Where's the clam? We're missing the
Oh,
clam.
yeah.
Where's the
Sitting
clam?
up there, I guess.
Sitting up top,
So-
I missed it.
Clam.
so how did Trevor deal with you guys?
He did good. Me and
Yeah.
Trevor go back to like
Yeah.
1998 was when me and Trev first hooked up. We used to play poker together
Oh,
with Life
cool.
Money.
Okay.
So yeah,
Oh,
good
cool.
fun.
He was pretty loose during
Yeah,
that.
oh, yeah.
He
very.
didn't do any Reiki on you. Really?
No.
Okay.
Tom was like, "Don't bring none of that in here."
So anyhow, where was I? Oh, so anyhow, this apparition is right in front of me, and I'm like, and he's staring at me, and I'm going, holy shit! And they turn, and he disappears.
Bring us back, Bob.
Bob, the camera operator.
Ron.
Ron.
Bob's
Yeah.
the other twin.
Damn it.
Yeah, damn
He's going to
it.
kill me for that.
Ron, Bob,
Ron.
Ronnie,
Fired.
Ronnie
So anyhow-
James Dio.
Anyway.
Camera one.
I think
All
Ronnie
right,
James is a
I think he fell
spirit
asleep.
now.
Ron.
He's enjoying the show.
Yeah. He's in the bathroom. I think he's in the bathroom right now. Ronnie.
There he is.
Rono.
Hey, look at you over there.
In the words of Donald Trump, you're fired.
Anyway,
Here he comes down the hall. He's walking out.
F you guys.
No more camera changes.
I won't take this.
His job
abuse
doesn't
anymore.
pay enough anyway.
Okay, where was I? So, anyhow,
yelling back
it was
there.
a freak moment. Well, anyhow, they came back for a second show, and no, it's okay. Just warn me when you do that. So anyhow, I'll try to come up with something funny. So Megan comes, the other psychic medium. Missy had broke her toe, so she didn't show up. So I said, we didn't do anything in the conference room the last time. Let's go back there. And she said, there's a woman sitting in the rocking chair in front of the grand piano. So she sits down, and we're sitting there, and she's got the headphones on with the spirit box, and Sam's shooting her. Parsons, he's sitting beside me, and then Trevor is on the floor with his back to the workshop. And I'm trying to get her to say something, and all of a sudden she goes, I did it. I go, what did you do? I did it. What did you do? Hanged. I go, you hanged? I did it. Hanged. Murder.
Red
And I'm
Ron.
going,
Pluto did it.
She said
Red
murder,
Ron.
and all the
Pluto
hairs are
That's
going up, you
creepy.
know. And then she goes, he's coming. And I'm like, oh shit. And Trevor goes, I'm getting cold. I hear
Did you
somebody,
grab him a Kleenex or
something
no?
something walked up behind him. And she kept saying, I did it. I hanged. So they sent her to the light like they did the dude downstairs. And so months later, my daughter's out with her friend Amy, and they're doing something, I don't know, shopping or something. And she says to her about the show, about the hanging, and Amy goes, oh yeah, a woman across the street at the theater hung herself years ago. She's pregnant. Murder.
Pluto did it.
So
Pluto did it.
It was like it was a freaky moment.
Wow. Yes, man. That'd be weird.
But I've been checking. We don't have any orbs anymore in the building. I don't know what the hell's going on.
You
Cleared them
exorcised
out.
the demons.
Settled it down.
So
I'm good with that though. I'm good with
Right?
that.
before we go too far, you have something really interesting going on right now, award-winning actually, with
Oh, the band.
the band. Yeah.
Well, this is a long story, which I'm going to really shorten up.
Speaking of which, Amber says you could listen to you all night.
All right.
Or forever, she said.
Forever.
I love you. I love you,
Forever.
Amber. I love you, Amber. So anyhow,
Actually, Christmas man dog.
We're going long.
Yeah.
That's great.
so okay, so
Talk about this. He's famous. You can check him out on some very popular videos online. Actually, a song called 3. Check that out.
check out Broken Fences too.
Broken
So this
Fences,
guy
yeah.
comes into my store. It kind of looks like Jelly Roll, but better looking. And he's got the
Sorry, Jelly Roll.
he's got the gauges, you know, and the beard and bald head. And he brings in this acoustic guitar, and he says, I don't know if you can fix this. I usually take my stuff to Cleveland, but somebody suggested you. And I says, well, what is this? He says, well, it was given to me by Aaron Lewis. Now, if you don't know who Aaron Lewis was, He was the lead singer of Stain. Now he's country artist. Right. And I said, yeah, I can
Was it a
fix
black guitar?
No, it was acoustic Gibson.
Oh,
brown, natural.
Because some dude come into our store trying to sell us an acoustic that had Aaron Lewis's signature on it.
Nah,
anyway.
Not the same. No, Aaron knew Aaron Lewis real well. Mm-hmm. Lewis gave it to him.
Right.
So I said, yeah, come back tomorrow. It'll be ready. He goes, really? I said, yeah. So I fixed it. It wasn't playing past the 10th fret. Did some adjustments. Came and said, wow, this is nice. I said, who are you? He says, my name's Aaron Himes. I said, are you a musician? He goes, yeah, I wrote some of the music for Imagine Dragons. And I went, wow. He says, I hear you're a guitar player. I said, yeah, I piddle around with a guitar. And he says, why don't you come out to a rehearsal? So I went out to his farmhouse. His studio's up in his attic. It's very cool. It's got all these beams. It's awesome. And he's got this $500,000 recording studio up there. And so I usually put my guitar, I have a GR30, so I can do violin, saxophone with my guitar. So I put on violins and guitars. So our violin player's got this long curly hair down his back, grays, great guy named Larry. And we had Scott on bass.
You got a brother named Mo and another one, cousin Curly.
Yes.
Shemp.
Yeah.
You took my thunder, dude. I was going to talk about that. So anyhow, what was really cool about it was we started playing, and I just kind of did my thing with I usually put it on violins and guitar, and I can just hang on a note because the violin player and the bass, everybody's busy. So I just sustain over the vocals and just follow the vocals, then take my licks or my arpeggios. And Aaron says,
Larry
that was a good, he goes, that was a good rehearsal. He says, by the way, we're playing at Chippewa Lake Ballroom next week. I went, what? I only practiced 2 hours with him, and now I've got a concert. It turned out really good. And what really freaked him out, there was a band that was opening, and they were doing Turn the Page, and they were boring. So I went up to the singer.
Did that sax part?
I did. I went up to the singer, and I went, can I do a sax solo? And he goes, oh, yeah. So I go over, and I get my guitar out, and he's looking at me, and I put it on alto sax, and I crank it. He finishes that second verse, goes, and the music that we play, and I just start ripping this solo, and he's like, and Aaron's filming me, and everybody's like, wow, this guy's playing a sax on his guitar, because I do love it.
You had the Roland, that
is awesome.
Yeah, my brother had one of those, and when in Teaser, they used to play that song.
Dave Marchone used to have one. That's what turned me on to that.
Yeah.
And I loved it. So I still have it. I mean, I have the original GR30. I think they had the best tones. But anyhow, it was great. So the next thing I know, we're doing a performance in Alliance. We're doing another performance. And we end up doing a song in his studio called 3, which stands for Three Crosses on the Hill. We're kind of an Americana band. We do a little blues, rock, country, but it's kind of Christian music. Aaron is actually a minister. Got tats all over. He looks, yeah, it's cool. So anyhow, we did a song called 3. Did a music video. It actually ended up, we put the video on within 3 weeks. It hit 135,000 hits. And we thought, wow. And then it went on the International Singer-Songwriters and went to #1. And it was like, wow. And then on the American Gospel, it was number 10, which is a big deal.
That's a very big deal.
So our newest song video is called, you can check it out. It's Aaron Himes, Aaron. Get your pens, folks.
Aaron
and
Himes.
His last name is spelled Hymes. And it's called Broken Fences Video. Check it out. We are signed with Positive Country Records in Nashville. We don't know how long we're going to be with them, but anyhow, that song's doing real well. It's a really nice video, and we do our own videos and everything, and it's climbing the charts. And
Camera 1.
Ron.
We're doing good.
Ron.
Camera 1, Ron.
Ron. Hit the button, Ron.
Slide it, Ron. Slide it. Slide it.
Yeah.
There's the rest of the group.
Yes.
He's on it now.
alive. He's alive.
We'll have to just give him an egg timer back there or something. Be like, all right.
I got one on the table. Actually.
Switch.
He was back there watching and listening.
I know.
He's riveted.
I'm going to tell you guys, last week when you Tom,
No, I'm Otto. He's
you
Tom.
guys, Tom,
Yeah, Otto, Tom,
Eddie.
Otto, Eddie.
Cubby.
yeah, I'm good with faces. Names suck.
Hey, yeah.
There we go.
Myself, actually.
So anyhow, I'm watching the trailer for this show,
Yeah.
and there's like the camera's zooming out. I'm going, it's like a Gallardi episode, and I'm like, what the hell? And they're like, coming next week, David Krajcik. You know? And I'm like going, oh crap.
Where we grow the hits, the media farm.
I said, I don't know, man. I almost, just to screw with you guys, was going to wear a tuxedo.
I should have.
Would have been like awesome, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, most people come in, they don't realize, like, they're all nervous and just like, shit, we're just relaxed,
Yeah.
talking shit,
Chill.
man. And everybody's like, man, it was great.
JT and I had a show, TV show called Dave and JT Show, and it was a guitar show. It was a variety show. We had guests on the show, then we jammed at the end. And we had this kid that started teaching violin for me when he was in his early teens. His name was William Schaub. He was homeschooled from Jackson Township. Didn't know much about him, but his mother was a professor at Akron, and my advisor's office was next to hers. And she went in to talk to him, says, Will wants to teach out of a music store. He doesn't want to teach out of the house. He goes, I know a guy. So she calls me. This little guy looks like Daniel Radcliffe, like Harry Potter, walks in the store, pulls a $12,000 violin out. He looks at me and he goes, I'd like to play some Bach for you. And I went, let me see here. I would like to hear some Paganini.
Yeah.
So he's tapping his head with the bow. He goes, I think I did this when I was 11. I'm going, and he starts playing. And I'm like, the passion and the vibrato.
Just
oh my
singing,
God.
huh?
So
You know
he
when-
finishes.
yeah, I
he
know
finishes.
exactly what you're talking about.
Well, he finishes and he goes, can I do the Bach piece? Yeah. So he finishes and we go sit down at the table and I said, dude, you like Bach like I like Phil Keaggy. And he goes, I love Phil Keaggy and I like Grateful Dead. I like Allman Brothers. I said, you have a job.
There you go.
He was with me till he was 18, 5 years. And I remember the dean of Juilliard called me and he says, hey, you're going to get a call in a few minutes. Be careful. Hold the phone away. I said, you accepted Will? He goes, yeah. I said, I told him you were. He didn't believe it. So about 5 minutes goes by, the phone rings. I go, I'm holding the phone out. I go, Minerva Music Center. It's like screaming. And so I said, congrats, Will. Well, we had him on the show when he was a sophomore. He did 6 years at Juilliard. He's a concert master. And we had him on the show. So at the end, we always made up a jam. We had Alan McKenzie from Firehouse. We had all kinds of people on the show. And
That was real cool.
Al's awesome. And so
We're
we're
gonna
sitting
give
there.
him
So I
Slide it,
had
Ron.
JT playing a run with a G to a C up to a D and back.
Thank
and
you.
I'm doing it up here. And this kid is just playing. And we put a really cool background behind him and the green screen. And then he looked at me and Will goes, take it. And so we started licking back and forth really fast. So we posted just that part of the show on YouTube. The next day, Will calls me, says, you're not going to believe this. We went viral. What? He goes, we're on the website for the school,
That's
for Juilliard.
yeah.
And it went viral and it went crazy. But JT and I did 13 shows and we'd always start out jamming. We had this little cute intro where we're kids and the mom's going, you go out in the garage and play those things, because it was Dave and JT's garage band show. And so we usually did some licks or we'd do some jamming and then we'd talk and we would highlight a product, whether it was a thumbs up or thumbs down and the pricing. Then we would go to the woodshed and do guitar repairs and we would show people how to do stuff. And we did overlaps, B film and stuff. And then we would have
Actually, talking about the guitar repairs, that last Les Paul you did for me, I think I'm going to bring that in and have Al play that on the next show, because that was, you kicked ass on that thing.
Thank you.
It's like a completely different guitar now.
the setup was one of the best setups I ever did on a pole. I mean, it just, the strings were like
Yeah.
I did the
16.
same. He bought a Jackson off of me. We
Slide
got
it, Ron.
it used. Man, it was just one of them ones that just went boom, and
Thank
it
you.
was just like, wow,
Yeah.
amazing.
This Jackson, I've picked up $2,500 Jacksons that don't play like this thing.
Thank
In
you.
fact, I questioned, the neck
if it was
changed.
even there, yeah.
Yeah,
I was
and,
like, as far as I know,
so
it's all original.
My guitar collection, thanks to you, and thanks to Tom, and thanks for actually Brandon Miller, who builds guitars, and yeah, I've got some pretty good ones. Yeah,
Thank you.
But that's right there at the top of the list. So,
That's
yeah.
appreciated. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
It sounds
And
like
it was like $100. Like
When there's-
literally, he made the world's best Les Paul.
Right.
Out of
I
what
had it for a while. It took a while, but I got it to you. But When I have guitars that come in, I just can't do anything with. I send them to Danny Shin.
Remind me before
You know who Danny
leave.
is?
No.
Oh, he's one of the best luthiers in the state. Anything he repairs keeps its value with Martins, Fenders, Taylors, anything. A friend of mine named Mike Perkins, amazing jazz blues guitarist. He had a gold top.
And he makes nice pancakes and eggs at Perkins. So.
He sold out. So anyhow, he was doing a show and somebody tripped and hit his gold top and the headstock ripped off, except for
man.
that much wood. Sent it to Danny. About a week later, Danny says it's done. Mike goes up $700. But when Mike brought it in to show it to me, the neck, you slice it 45 degrees, you dowel it, put it together.
Yeah.
You couldn't see where he did it. And I'm like, but $700, but it kept its value. Because he's authorized by all those companies. So
wow,
yeah,
that's an amazing art to be able to do that.
He actually started with Virgil Lay.
Because I've seen some repairs like that where there's like Elmer's glue hanging out of the cracks and stuff.
I had a 71 Les Paul Custom Deluxe that was sitting on a stand, and my son and his buddy was wrestling, and they bumped it, and dude's like, oh, and he walked away from it and went, pow, and snapped the headstock right off of it. But it was finger joint, so the dude ended up putting it back together and shit, and then my dad ended up with it and stuck it in the attic for 10 years, and it split it and just destroyed this thing. I still got it. It's over at Larry's house, but it's...
By the way, I'm selling a saxophone. I had, you know who Matt Corey is?
Yeah.
Matt called me today, and I said, I sent him a note, and I said, hey, I've got a 1942 Con with the naked lady etched into the bell, and it said it's mint, and it's not a mark on it, and it's a caramel color, dark caramel, and it plays, and it's a 42, and I'm asking $4,000 for it. Anybody interested out there?
Yeah, go check it out at Minerva Music Center.
Well, it's at my house, but
Well,
Matt's
don't go to his house.
No, unless you're really cute and a female, and your pronouns are her.
You've been down to Nashville and Memphis and those places. You ever meet Elvis?
No.
No.
Actually, I just played in our band played at the Capitol Theater in Lebanon, which is north of Nashville.
Yeah.
One of my goals, my bucket list was to play in Nashville. So I did 2 nights on TV. It was great.
You need to add on your bucket list.
When my wife passed away, I had a guitar collection. I sold it, and the following year, and I decided I'm going to do something crazy. I have a bucket list of stuff.
What you just added to your bucket list, right? You told me outside that you and the Aaron Himes band are going to play here on the Chicken Coop Live. That's now on your bucket list. So
No habla English, man. No habla English. So anyhow, what the hell was I talking about?
Selling guitars.
you sold
I
your
sold
guitar
it. So I took
collection,
the money, well, not all the money, but I got my passport redone, and I flew to Africa, went on a tour, and climbed Mount Kilimanjaro when I was 66 years old.
Nice. That's amazing.
Thank you very much.
That is amazing.
Got me a really cool tattoo of a yin yang, but it's electric and acoustic guitar, and it was all done in black, and
Nice.
it's really cool. So I have a bucket list of stuff I want to get done.
Hell,
Writing my
yes.
books, doing my movies, playing guitar in Nashville.
You're a doer.
I mean, I am a doer. If I stop, I'm afraid I'm going to fall over and
Right.
just
That's what
die.
happens when you
I was
stop.
going to say, that does what
But
happens.
I will tell you, I have
sitting at 147.
I have
by the
something
way.
called polycythemia vera. It's cancer of the blood, and
I have that. I don't have that. I'm none of the factors, but I've had blood cancer since I was 19.
so what? My bone marrow makes more red blood cells. My body can.
Mine
handle.
too.
You have polycythemia vera.
Oh my God, I got to check that out because I'm in the Cleveland Clinic. They ruled everything out.
I go to Altman Cancer. Now I was
Dr.
going.
Schmatzer.
They were doing a phlebotomy on me every 2 weeks, taking 500
Oh,
cc's
they did
out.
5 days, 10 days in a row.
Then that would be every month. Then it was every 3 months. And the last time I saw my oncologist, she says, "Dave, I don't want to see you till January. I love you."
Nice.
She's really good looking too.
Blood thinner?
So I said, "Cool."
You take the
So,
blood thinner?
I take I have arthritis, so I take Mobic, little yellow pill. I've been doing that for
I read that book.
Moby Dick.
Yes.
I'm going to have to come down and see you. at
Did you
Minerva
read the
Music.
book about his father, Papa Boner?
The show begins to degenerate closer we get to 10 o'clock.
With this group, you've got to be quick, man. You got to say something fast.
Oh, this has been a really good show.
Can
I wasn't
dig
sure what
it?
I did not know what to expect, but
How about,
I'm happy.
How about Johnny Cash?
Thank you.
Did you ever bump into Johnny Cash while you're out there?
No, but he used to go to Minerva. His cousin was the police chief, Chief Hawk. He would come up every couple months and hang out.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I did meet him, but I didn't get an autograph. He was in the pizza place, Alan Dave's, and he's getting his pizza, and I'm standing there and went,
Alan Dave's was just like
Johnny
a little
Cash.
shack in Minerva.
And it was, but it
Yeah.
was, they had good chicken
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And so he says, do you have an empty container for the pizza? And he signs, thanks for the grub, guys. Johnny Cash.
Oh,
And he
my
stuck it
gosh.
up in water. I'm standing there going, oh my God.
Donna Douglas
so
used to
awesome.
be
That's
around
crazy.
Minerva quite a bit too.
Who-
Ellie Mae Clampett.
Oh, she came in the store all the time. The first, you're going to love this story.
Ellie Mae Clampett.
I have a friend who,
Slide it, Ron.
there's a guy that I
Gary's
know.
like, love it.
There's a guy I know that it's her agent. He said, so he told her, you got to stop in the music store. So I'm in the front of the store, like by the cash register, and this blonde-haired woman comes in, a little bit heavier set than. She opens the door and she goes, "Howdy, Dave." And I looked at her and I said, "Donna, when I was 16, you helped me through puberty." And she started.
Look at her, girl.
She was very religious, but she started laughing. She goes,
Hey now.
she goes, "I'm coming back." And she would come in and sit and talk. And I was more interested in the movies she did. She was on Twilight Zone a number of times.
Great show.
Ask her about Buddy Epstein, great dancer. I mean, he was such a great guy. She didn't get along with Max.
Max
She didn't
Baer.
get along with him. But she would sit, if she was anywhere in town and there were kids, she would get a coloring thing and color with them and talk to them. She was an amazing not young. She was about 84, I think, when she died. I think she died a few years, 5 or 6 years ago, maybe. I don't
About
know.
right, yeah.
And, but she had a farm down in Burkholtz, which is just south of Carrollton.
Burgles.
It's like
Yeah.
stepping back in time going to Burgles if you haven't
Yeah.
been there. So
Yeah,
it
it's
really
a little-
is, yeah.
I had the Burgles once. The doctor didn't know what the hell to do with me.
Yeah.
A little X-Lax and you're good. So
What was that you was saying earlier though about you said your daughter's a Sasquatch hunter
I don't know. My daughter,
or who? Somebody you said. I
it's
thought
my
you said-
daughter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
So
my
I thought-
daughter likes to do. She goes down to Saltford. I know her and Amy were there, where the lodge is. And they took the path. They wanted to go see the nest, but it was later in the day and it was going to get dark. And they're walking, and all of a sudden, for some reason, they just stopped. They were talking, and a rock falls 4 feet in front of her. And Amy goes, "I think we need to go back." So they turn around and they could hear bipedal footsteps on each side of them. Boom, boom, following
Getting
them.
paced,
And
yep,
every
that's
time
how they
they'd
do it.
stop, something would, a big log or something would land behind them on the path. They just hauled ass. They went to the lodge and went home.
Yeah.
But she's into that. I'm into
What was that you was saying earlier about the trees?
yeah, there's an area, I don't know if I got this right, but it's below Carrollton. It's in a forestry area. It's called area, I think 603 they call it. So she and Amy went down to check it out, deep in the woods, and there's 40
Whoa, what was
the
that?
hell was that?
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Oh, he's tossing stuff. Wow. Well, I hear voices, so he's still alive.
Well, you know, he's
That's
still
good,
playing
yeah.
guitar, so
Right.
this guy never stops playing guitar.
I think Ron fell asleep and tipped back in his chair, maybe. I don't know.
Should we call
crazy.
Yeah.
Should we call 991?
Yeah.
Okay.
Live trauma. Well, he's doing the slider still, so I mean,
Leave on that ashtray.
So anyhow, what the hell was I talking about?
the trees.
Sasquatch.
At my age,
You
we
gotta quit watching the show, Ron. Pay attention to
Area
the
code.
screen on the
The
videos.
Squatch 603.
Oh, 603. So they end up. There's 4 trees. Not
What a
in
great show you guys are having.
Somebody asked if we could go for another hour. Actually, they said we want another hour of a
At
show.
my age, I have a bedtime.
That's right.
Unfortunately,
You have to
It's,
tune in
it's
for
all good though.
episode
It's all good.
episode 2 later.
So
we're
anyhow,
bringing back for more
That's right.
stories.
so they get to this area and there's 4 trees and they're about 10 to 12 inches in diameter, and they're not in a perfect square but pretty close. And Tara said she looks up, and 15 feet up on each tree is snapped to the center like a dome. There was no gaff marks where people would climb with gaff, no tire tracks, nothing. She said it freaked him out. She said, I think this is an alpha. She says, I think we need to get the hell out of here. So they did.
Yeah.
I'm more into ufology and
Now, here a couple few weeks ago, me and my brother, he actually, when we was camping down in Marietta, a Bigfoot yelled, "Ah!" That big yell that they do, and it freaked him out and shit. So him and his son made this thing. It's a recorder. They got the design off of one of these other Bigfoot hunters out there in California or whatever, and
he's a bad man.
and so he made this recorder, and me and him just took it down there to Wayne National Forest where all that happened, and stuck it down there, and it turns on at 7 p.m. and shuts off at 7 a.m. So it records whatever noise is going on through the night, and hopefully we can catch something.
When you gonna pick that back up?
Huh?
The box.
I think he said he's going to leave it down there for like 30 days or something like that. So here in a couple weeks,
in the hole.
That's a good idea.
we're going to go back down and check it out. We got it. It's in a little plastic thing hidden underneath this log or whatever, to where up kind of off the road. Because at first we was going to hike and all over this hill, and it was going to take us forever to get there, because we went down there during the summer with his son Brandon that came back from LA, and a bunch of us, we went down there to hike and find the spot. And good God, it about killed us. And then I was like, we went down there to do this, and we was going to try to drive up the hill and around on this logging road, but we went up the logging road and got like 50 yards in, and it would drop down into a creek, and we're in his car and shit. And it was like, well, you got to have a 4-wheel drive to go up there. So we had to back on out of that. And I was like, dude, why don't we just go right off the road, right up here where the old cabin used to be? Because if it's going to yell like it did when you heard it, it's going to hear. And it'll echo all the way down through this valley, down through the holler. Boy, I tell you what, why you done with the Bigfoot, boy?
Did you leave some bacon and donuts out?
We left Skittles. We left Skittles.
Yeah.
I thought they were into like that beef jerky.
No, they like them Skittles.
Slide it
They
right.
like to taste the rainbow.
What was that guy
Thank
on
you.
the show?
Alphabet.
Not Finding Bigfoot is what I used to call the show. It was
That
big.
shit's
I like
cool.
Expedition Bigfoot. They're all scientists and stuff, and they're doing it the right way.
Right.
Did Ford come out with that? The Ford Expedition Bigfoot?
Yeah. Ford Expedition.
How are we on time?
Now, another
We're coming
show.
down.
Another
Yeah,
show. I watched.
we're,
Did you watch Agent
156.
All right, we want to get those last two questions.
I
in.
don't really like that because of the dude with the messed up hair. I don't know, man. That's
You mean
Ancient
the-
Aliens.
Oh.
Oh,
You mean
that guy.
yeah, I don't like him
I
for
don't
some
either.
reason.
Doctor somebody.
He's full of his
He pokes the bear.
Giorgio something.
Yeah,
or
Giorgio.
other.
He's
that's
great.
right,
He's a
yeah.
goof.
He's
I
a
don't.
bear poker.
But you know what? He looks like he was in a windstorm.
Yeah.
Einstein hair.
Do you watch
So-
the Curse of
I've watched some other shows where some of his shit's bullshit. So
Amber
I don't
wanted to
really
know
like
about
him.
Charlie Daniels. I guess her grandfather or somebody opened up for Charlie Daniels. So I
Oh,
want to know if you
cool.
ever crossed paths.
I know his guitar player. He's brought guitars to me to repair.
Cool. Well, there you go,
Yeah.
Amber. Now you know.
Awesome.
Or Christmas
So,
dog. Whatever
Actually
you call
traded
it.
me an amp, my amp, for one of his acoustic. He had a Fender Acoustic Electric, gorgeous, in a hard shell case. He comes in the store. He goes, I said, "You here for repair?" He goes, "Nope." He goes, "I want that Fender amp." It was only $300. This guitar was at least an $800 top of the line Fender Acoustic Electric.
Oh, wow.
I said, "I think I owe you money." He goes, "Nope," and he traded me even.
Me and you have made some good
Wow.
trade deals over the years too.
Yes.
We've done some horse trading. And
Yes.
Red Reality, you need to go down there to get you an acoustic guitar
Yeah.
because he's got some.
I still
he's
got
good
hers.
ones.
She still ain't came back and got hers.
Oh wow! Oh, you fixed it up for her?
Yeah,
Oh.
I did a whole setup, clean,
Where you at, Red?
polished the
You
frets.
need a ride?
I'm
So-
probably gonna end up having to take it to her because I don't think you know what I mean. She don't have a ride, and obviously that goof or whatever.
I'm gonna like
messing with
asking
him.
this last question that I always do with you because you've lived a big life.
Should I pray first?
No, not at
no,
all.
no.
So you're 74. You're my daddy's age. So what would 74-year-old say to that 20-year-old headstrong kid if you could go back in time and tell him something?
Can I tell you some stories?
Yeah.
Tell me a story. Will you?
This is classic. Okay, I'm in the store. This kid comes in. He's about 20 years old, 19. He goes, he's got a Flying V case. He goes, "Dude, I just bought this, man. Would you check it out for me? I said, dude, I'll check it out. So
Way cool.
I opened it up, and it had been the color of the singing pig, but it had patinaed like a nicotine. And I look at it, it's mint, and I checked the Gibson out on the case because you can tell the dates by the dot or by how it's made, the logo. And I knew it was old. And I said, could I see it? And I turned it around, looked at the serial number. It's 5 digits.
Oh, shit.
So I went, I need to make a phone call. He goes, what's the problem? And I said, you wanted me to check it out. I'm going to go check it out. So I went back into my studio, and I called Stanley J at the Manlin Brothers in Staten Island because I knew Stan. He's since passed. But I called him up. I said, Stan, got this kid that came in. He's got a flying V, man. I'm going to read you a serial number. I read it, and he gets dead silent. He goes, damn, does he want to sell it? I said, he just bought it. He says, you tell him I'll fly down to Akron, Canton tomorrow from Staten Island, and I'll give him this much in cash. I said, if I don't call you back, Stan, he ain't biting. So I go out, and I'm holding this guitar, and I said, what did you pay for this, man? He goes, $340.
Oh, my God.
Just wait, on eBay. And I said, you might want to have a seat. So he sits down and goes, what? You know, lovely grunge kid. And I said, this guitar is a 1958. According to the serial number, this was the 33rd one made. And I said, not only that, it is totally mint. I said, this guitar is worth $120,000.
Oh, my God.
And he goes, oh, okay.
He didn't believe you.
And I go, do you know what? No. Do you know what I just said? And he goes, yeah. I said, you don't have a clue. I didn't say it, but you can put the money in.
So I was picking it up for him.
I was like thinking it. So anyhow, I said, look, the guy talked to him.
I love how they put my quarters in the fucking bag.
I said,
Well, he got his money's worth, right? Yeah.
I mean,
That's a prepaid.
some days I'd be sticking $5.
like how
anyhow,
I did that.
So I said to him, I said, the guy in New York said he would fly down tomorrow,
Take my money.
give you $74,000 in cash for that guitar.
Wow.
And he goes, is that all? And I went, yeah, I paid $340 for it.
Wow.
How old are you? I said, $74,000 in cash?
Right.
He goes, well, if it's worth $120, he says, listen, I have friends all over the country and musicians. I could call them. They'll fly in their own jet, and they'll pay the $120, but I want a 10% finder's fee.
Hell
and he goes,
yeah.
why would I give you $12,000? I said, who in the state of Ohio right now is going to give you $120 for that sucker? I know
Nobody.
people. You
Right.
don't. He goes, he's packing it up, and he's heading toward the front door. And he said, I'll just take it to an auction house. I said, they're going to get 45%. He's out the door.
Wow.
Never thanked me.
Wow.
So what I figured is
Dumbass.
some guy died. The family came and didn't know what anything was worth, stuck it on eBay
And let it go.
and they just let him go.
Yeah.
Hey, kid, you're a moron.
I have another story. Great story. Young guy comes in the store. He's about 23. Young to me. Okay. So he comes in. He's got 2 hard shell cases. And he goes, my grandfather died and left these to me. And he sets them on the floor and it says Gibson on them. I'm going. And he says, a music store, which I will not name, offered him $6,500 for him. Said, let's look at him. I open it up. Looking at me is a 1958 Les Paul Custom.
Oh.
As I pick it up to look at the back, which was flawless, he goes, oh, yeah, they're consecutive serial numbers.
Oh, man.
And they're twins. And I said, you're the only person I know of in the entire world that has two 58 Les Paul consecutives. I said, these aren't worth $6,500. These are worth at least $60,000.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hell.
my gosh.
And he does, really? I said, you play guitar? And of course, no.
Oh.
And I said, so I sold him 2 humidifiers, showed him how to set them up. I said, you need to come back every year and see me as long as I'm still in business, and I will do an appraisal and upgrade it and get it notarized for you. It'll cost you $25, but I'll do that.
Right.
And this way, for insurance purposes. I said, he says, are they going to be worth anything later? I said, when you get to be old, they're going to be worth at least $250,000
Double.
a piece.
Right.
And my last story, this is amazing. Saturday afternoon, I had locked the door. I had the lights on. I was getting ready to shut down. And this guy's at the door trying to pull it. He's got this little 9-year-old bouncing around. So I go to the door and I said, can I help you? He says, could you check this guitar? I just bought this guitar. I said, yeah. Comes in, case says Gretsch. So I look at it and I open it up and staring at me, because he says, I want to know if my son can play this. I open it up and staring at me is a 61 White Falcon Gretsch.
Wow.
I went, oh my
How the
God.
heck did the guy get that?
I said, where did you get this? He goes, at a garage sale.
Oh, yeah.
Down the street from my store. That pissed me off.
I bet you're doing garage sales now.
Yeah. So I said, what was she asking for? He goes, 35. And I said, 3,500. He goes, no, $35.
Best kind of find.
Wow.
And I said,
I'll give you 65.
he goes, all he had 25 and she took it.
Oh
my
my
gosh.
I said, you might want to wait a minute here. I said, this guitar is worth at least $10,000.
Wow.
He goes, what? I said, it's a 61 Gretsch White Falcon. It was flawless. It was flawless. And I said, you had the original case and it smells good.
Oh, wow.
And the kid's bouncing around going, can I play it, Dad? And I said, I wouldn't let my kid 10 feet within this guitar.
Yeah.
So he looks up on the wall and he sees a 3/4 acoustic with a case. He goes, how much is that? I said, with the case, 140. He goes, wrap it up. Kid goes, I want that. And Dad goes, shut up. Says, you're going to get what I give you.
Yeah.
And I said, you play guitar? And the guy goes, no. And I went, I said, okay. I said, I'm going to tell you how to take care of it and blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't, I never get those kind of deals, man. I don't.
So was the answer to his
I was
question?
just getting ready to say that. I was like,
Go to
what
garage
was
sales
the
and look for guitars or what?
I said, yeah. I kind of, yeah. I have a friend in Worcester. He was cruising around. He's a guitarist. And he saw a garage sale and he sees a guitar all painted with peace signs. It was just spray painted. But it looked like a Fender headstock. And he goes up the lady, goes, how much? She goes, oh, $15. So he gives her 15, runs back to his truck, pulls his foamy spray out, sprays it, smokes a cigarette. When it's all bubbled up, he peels it, and there it was, Fender Stratocaster.
Wow.
Checked out the serial
American.
number. Ready? It was a 58.
Wow. Is that the magic year?
It was.
Kinda, yeah.
It was.
58
Sends
Carino.
sends it back to Fender. Back then, it was about $1,200. They redid the whole thing for him. And it's worth a ton of. It's like 40 or 50,000.
That's crazy.
Maybe more than that now.
So you're my dad. So if 58 was the magic year, you were there for the magic year whenever everything really started.
Well, I still have my first guitar, which I talked about. But
Right.
in 1959, my dad said, we're going to go shopping for you. We get in the car. We go to Sears. Go back, and he buys me a Gibson ES 125 for $150.
What's it worth now?
Not that much, probably about $3,000, $2,900. But I don't play it. It's just been sitting in the case.
Wow. Did you collect baseball cards?
My grandson does. he's got 10,000.
You know your shit, so I want to see your. How about vinyl? You got a nice record collection?
I do. But my wife is one. She loved Moody Blues, Pink Floyd. She loved all that.
All the shit I love.
My parents liked Pink Floyd.
Who doesn't like Pink Floyd?
My mom,
Right.
I got to tell you, my mother, they went on a trip for 2 months to England, just to cruise. My mother took legal paper and she made an itinerary, like a booklet of what they did. So she sends it to all of us kids when they get back. And she didn't say anything about what they had done. So I'm turning pages, reading this with pictures. And there's a picture of this Tudor with the wood going through the stucco, Ferrari sitting in the driveway. And my mother's going like this to the house.
David Gilmour?
Oh, it's pretty better than that.
Ooh.
So she's they're knocking on the door. The old man's doing a selfie type thing. And standing in the doorway is George Harrison.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
And my mother wrote, going to have tea and crumpets with George and his lovely wife. And they're walking in the house. I thought it was a cardboard. I thought it was a fake. And George Harrison's waving, and my parents are walking in the house.
Wow.
And only my mom could do that.
That's pretty amazing.
We took my brothers, my stepbrothers, and my sisters. We took my parents to the Dark Side of the Moon concert. We got them front row center. We were behind them. Pink Floyd is the only show you can go in straight, and within 10 minutes you're stoned. You know, contact high. So there's my mother sitting up there, and she turns around and goes, Is your mouth cottony?
I want some cookies.
I said, Mom, you brought a flask of wine, drink it, But she loved Pink Floyd. I mean,
Well, how could you not, really?
That's a great tour to see,
Shit.
too. Hell yeah.
So it was interesting.
Well, we're about 6 after.
Yeah.
So a little long.
Did he answer the question, though?
What would you tell 20-year-old you?
Yeah.
What advice would you give
I
yourself
was
if
going
you
to say, I
could?
can't remember.
If you could.
I'm trying to.
He's got another story.
When my mother was still alive, no, she called me. We used to call each other every other Sunday. She would call me. I would call
We're going
her.
to have to do a part 2.
She said no, and she said, I have to be medicated for that. She said,
Heavily.
she called me. She said, Dave, if you could do a redo on your life, what would you do? And I said, Mom, and I didn't know this about my mother. I said, I like to cook. I could have been a chef. I like to cook, but I said, I like archaeology. I wanted to be an archaeologist. And she started laughing. I said, you find that funny? And she goes, no. When I went to Worcester College, I had a choice between geophysics and pre-law. I took pre-law. She says, I wanted to be an archaeologist. I never knew that. That was the only time in my entire life my mom and I
So would you
clicked.
tell your 20-year-old self?
Sir, would you answer the question?
I'm gonna push the hell out of this interview. I'm pushing it. We still have people on there.
Oh, yeah, we do.
We got
They're
20.
going
Oh,
up.
yeah.
They're going nuts. So anyhow, I think I would still play guitar. I would never take that away.
Hell no.
I think the only thing that really bothered me the most was quitting school in my junior year because I did not get to graduate with my friends. I think they thought really less of me because I quit. And I did run into one of my classmates. Went to Worcester
Slide it, Ron.
to get something, and she didn't know who I was. And
I feel like I'm on the set of a Ron Jeremy.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
we're not going that far. I didn't go that far with her,
Ron.
and I ain't going to jail. No, you dropped your
Got her.
soap. I did not drop my soap. So anyhow, and
My
I told her
soap
who I
has a rope.
was, and she just looked at me. She couldn't believe that I'd done all I'd done. She thought that she didn't know what happened to me after I quit high school.
Yeah.
But I think I would have stayed. It was tough being bullied and stuff, and it was really hard on me. It was, and I think that's the only regrets
Well, with
I have.
everything you've done, it's hard to really change much. So
Hell
I
yeah.
guess,
And, that,
I've had a good life, and I've met a lot. I think it's interesting having the store. I've met amazing musicians. I'm here with you guys. I wouldn't be here if it hadn't for you coming in with your guitar.
Right.
And
coming in looking for a deal.
and he didn't get one. No, he did. He got a good deal. He got
a raw deal.
No, he got a good deal. On
The
that
deal.
But anyhow,
Yeah.
I don't have.
And you
any-
met my son Caden before. He played in there. He sat in there, and you were.
Yes.
Yeah. You
I want
liked
to hear him
Caden,
play with
so-
my son back there, Alex.
Tom's got questions
The
for you. too.
deal.
Tom
Sunday.
Tom wants to know what's in your top
Sunday.
dresser drawer.
Did you ever answer his question yet?
I did.
Yeah,
Oh,
it would
he
be
did.
finish
He
high
has
school.
no
Oh,
regrets.
okay. Finishing high school.
Yeah,
So
he's
my
like-
question is, does your mom wear combat boots? No.
She might have at one time.
Is she
I
a
don't know.
whack?
She passed in 2011. I have vitiligo. You notice I lost my pigment. Okay, I grew up with that. Only 2% of the world has that. I used to see that on my mom. I never thought about it. I thought I'd never get it. 3 months after she dies, I'm taking a shower, look down at my crotch, go, what the hell's that? And it started with spots. I call it the curse of Betty.
I call it the spotted dick.
The spotted dick syndrome. Yes.
So-
go to your doctor and say, well,
What the hell is this?
you got vanilla on your dick. So anyhow,
I already know what his answer is going to be.
Yeah. So if you could have dinner with anybody at any time period, anywhere, blah, 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 but it
Except
can't
Jesus,
be
because
Jesus,
we're all going to meet him.
who would it be?
that's really difficult.
Take a second.
There's so many, male or female.
It doesn't matter.
Whoever you
Anybody.
want. Anybody.
At any time.
Any time
period.
period.
You know it's got to be a female. Let's see.
I said Cleopatra.
Well,
We've had some pretty interesting.
Well, we're going to be actually the Aaron Himes and his wife and I are going down for the Josie Awards at the Grand Ole Opry this month.
Nice.
We're up for 3 awards: Song of the Year, Vocalist, and Entertainer of the Year.
Nicely done, sir.
And we got third row, and we'd have to pay because the seats are all taken; they're all paid for. And I hope I could sit next to Reba McEntire.
Yeah.
So anyhow, but I don't know who it would be. I don't know if
awesome.
I can answer that question because there's too many people that I'm influenced by that I would definitely have dinner with.
Yeah.
You're waiting for a sexy like playmate or something, right?
But there isn't one in particular though. And it doesn't have to be somebody famous.
Right.
All right.
It could be
It could be anybody.
There's been a few people obviously say mom.
No.
That was my pick.
I think I
figured
would.
he'd say mom.
I had so many influences. I had 2 influences growing up in jazz, which was Tal Farlow and Wes Montgomery. And Joe Pass. I would have dinner with any one of those 3 guys. I think it'd be great to sit and jam with Wes Montgomery.
I thought you were going to go maybe like 40s pinup model when you were talking about...
Oh, what was her name? Yeah. I don't know.
Candy.
Gary said if he wasn't intoxicated, he'd come over and shake your hand.
Yes, liquor's quicker, but candy's sandy.
Speaking of, hey Gary, what size shirt you wear, bro? Can you get into an extra large?
Yeah,
I thought we was gonna have them today, but it's looking more like the end of the week we'll be having our shirts in.
Amber said she wants to come in handcuffs. I think she says right there. So something about handcuffs. Yeah.
I would like to see that.
I got these cuffs, y'all.
He said instead of Charlie Daniels, make it Jack Daniels, and that's what would happen.
Right?
I've been listening.
Jack Daniels is the panty dropper, is it?
Jack Daniels can come with bail money.
Anybody typing and writing really quick?
Yeah.
You have a chat.
There's a
room,
little
right?
delay.
Yeah.
They'll hear it like 15 seconds later.
Want to thank our guest Dave for coming in tonight. Dave's here.
Dave is here.
I had a good time, guys. That was great.
It was a lot of fun tonight, man.
I'm
You got some
going
great
to call
stories.
Trevor tomorrow.
Yeah.
Actually, I should call him now and say, "You're not going to believe where the hell I'm at."
I'm on the air, dude. Right now.
You want me to call
And
him?
if you do want to come back and jam, by all means.
Absolutely.
I'm going to call Trevor right now.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it to it.
What's up, dog?
Hey, Ron, slide it over so we can see
Hey,
it.
Trevor, I'm in the haunted hole.
Trevor,
Can you believe it?
Hopefully he's not in the haunted hole.
He's
right
going to be
now.
on speakerphone. Let's see if he answers.
Live on the air. Another first
Yeah, I was
on the
going to
Outhouse
say, I was just going to
podcast.
say that. First live phone call with a previous guest.
Yeah, right.
Answer the phone.
He's not answering.
He's deep in meditation.
Answer the phone.
Hey, what's up, man?
Trevor, guess where I'm at right now?
You are with Ed and everybody, aren't
Ah,
You got it, buddy. and not only that, they mentioned you were here, and I thought, oh my God. So we were talking about Rogues Hollow for a while.
you? Yeah.
You guys need to come back to my store. I haven't had any orbs. We need to stir something up.
Oh, well,
I wanna be
we're-
there.
We're totally down with that. Like
Okay.
I said, I want to make a second trip out there and see how things are going.
That's awesome. How are you and Missy doing?
Oh, we're doing good, man. It's
Awesome.
crazy. It's crazy season right now. So
I know.
we've got our.
I need to
Gotta
get
go.
up. I'm going to come over. You're open Saturdays,
you're live
right?
on the air, Trevor.
Yeah.
Shout it out, Trev. Shout it out, Trevor.
So
it's the high holidays.
Make sure Otto's there.
I think when I close at 3, I'll just drive over to Louisville and hang out for a minute or so and talk to you too. And
Yeah, man. Stop by.
sounds
We'll catch
good.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. They said you were on the show, and I said, he really was on the show. I thought, God, I was scared to death, man. I saw the trailer for this show, and it scared me. I didn't know if I should be drunk when I came here or should take medication. I didn't know what the hell was going to happen to me.
Probably both.
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Actually, it was a great show. It was really fun.
A really good
Yeah, those
show.
guys are hoot, man.
And this guy playing the guitar, holy crap.
Yeah, isn't he
Damn.
good?
He's ripping, man. I'm telling you. He doesn't stop.
No, he's a machine.
Oh, wow.
His
Alexander the Great.
fingers, he's got to have calluses that could break bricks, you know? So
Oh,
listen,
yeah, man.
I just wanted to call and get you on the show because I thought that was so cool you were here before. So,
Oh,
Yep.
that's awesome, Dave. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, those are good guys. They're funny.
Mad love, Trevor.
listen,
Mad love.
you guys take care and I'll be in touch soon.
All right, Trevor, peace.
See ya, bro.
Bye,
Hey,
Trev.
Slide it,
You guys later.
Ronnie.
Be
Slide it.
All right, bye, Trev.
Thank you.
Cool.
He probably's crapping bricks right now.
Always breaking
good
new
show.
ground on the
Oh,
Outhouse
Gary says
podcast.
triple X. Well, you know, we got the shirts coming in, and seeing how you're our favorite guest, we's going to hook you up one. I guess I'll give you one for your wife to wear then. Until we get the triple X ones in, maybe on the next couple
Oh, I
batches
thought he
or
meant
something.
she was going to wear
No.
triple.
That's what he said. The old triple
That's
X.
his
Gary is
size.
a big boy.
Wow.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Like, share, subscribe. Hit that annoying bell.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
I appreciate you guys. That was a lot of fun tonight. It
Loved
really
having
Thanks
you
for
tonight,
having
man.
me.
I think we need to do a
Great.
part 2 because you got a shit ton
Yeah,
more
no
stories.
doubt.
I
I'm
know
sure
you
them
do.
guys
Well,
will
I have
want
to
that.
come up. I have to do some more stuff in order to have some stories to
There
tell.
you go. I don't think that's going to be a problem,
We
Kilimanjaro.
can
Probably when I die at my eulogy, they're going to say, God, he told a hell of a lot of stories.
When's your
You know?
birthday?
My birthday's July 6th.
What's your birth sign? What is that?
Cancer.
Cancer.
It's a crab.
I am a crab.
Wow.
Mr. Krabs. Where's me money?
Aye, matey. CNI test.
Aye.
Arr. Aye. Okay, guys.
All right.
While I
wrapping
wear
it
this
up.
belt buckle, ours driving me nuts.
It's past
Right.
my bedtime.
All right,
Oh.
I'm
Time
gonna
to
have to
watch
go back
Matlock.
and kill this real quick, but all right, everybody, it's been
been
real,
fun.
it's been fun,
We've had
it's
a lot
been
of fun.
swell,
We'll see
but
you
the
next week.
swelling's gone down.
Next
So we'll
week.
catch you on the next one. Let me go back.
Thanks, everybody.
Kill it.
We're going to
This
see
was
you
great,
on
man.
the flip
Thanks for
side.
tuning in. See you next time.
Bye.
We're still alive. We're still